Scopelli. Scopelli.
Alright, I think this is working now. Sorry about that, folks. We're back with Sonic Unleashed. It's a good game. I have some new commands, some new stuff to do. I have a sticky note to remind me of stuff I wanted to talk about. Assuming Streamlabs will actually work. It's being a bit picky right now for whatever weird reason. There it goes. But yeah, please check out everybody. Dennis will be doing a stream later today for the Transgender Law Center, and then Skull will be doing a stream later on in November for Beaumont Children's Hospital. But yeah, I don't think anybody's actually in the chat yet, but I don't really care. I'm gonna start pushing some buttons and getting this thing working. If you are in the chat, I hope you're doing well. I know I'm a little early today. This might become a more permanent slot for Saturdays, because it does give me quite a bit more room from the rule of nines. I don't have to really worry about that much. But I don't know. It'll depend on if anybody bothers showing up or not. But with that said, let me actually push some buttons I need to. Let me move. Whoa. Gotta love when you're not ready. But yeah. Boom. There you go. So I do have my, of course this isn't working. Why would it work the first time I do it? I gotta connect back up with my Xbox. Or not. Stand by, everybody. This application, there's a reason they replaced it. It's a little glitchy. But still a lot better than the other one that they replaced it with, in my opinion. Can we please just have some Sorry, folks. I know. It's real freaking interesting to watch someone figure out technical difficulties. Alright. Not total bandwidth. I want to go back up to high. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a working stream. So, let's play some Sonic Unleashed today. I should probably posted this on Twitter. Well. Hopefully people who know me, know that I'm doing this. I did post about it yesterday. Set go. Yeah, so I don't know how far I'm going to get today. I've got 3 hours to do with whatever I may. Give or take. I can go a little over that. Really nice thing about being nowhere near the rule of 9s is I can kind of blur the edges there a little bit. So I am wired in. That is my magic solution to the controller disconnecting. Let me grab my phone so I can actually put this on. Or actually, you know what? I'm a dum-dum. You can put this on Twitter without getting up. And that'd probably be a good thing. But yeah, if anyone's actually in the chat, my apologies that you're gonna see like everything of mine because I forgot put it on the right monitor. But yeah, if anyone's in the chat, let me know how you are. Hope you're all doing well today. But yeah, let's make a Twitter post. Okay. Now my body is ready. Alright. Okay. Of course this freaking crashed. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, my Xbox controller is right here, you dum-dum. Yay! I get to play the game. Need to go to Spagonia, apparently. I have no idea where we left off. So I'll be guessing. Can I go this way yet? Yeah! I don't know if that does me any good in the day, because I know there's, some medals that I should probably, try to get here, because I'm gonna kick myself in the pants otherwise. I see it, but it's not within my reach. Let's try that again, please. Oh, poo. How did I not fall off there? That was luck. Pure concentrated luck. We have some new commands if anybody bothers showing up, but, I think moving this so much, has confused people. I think moving... Yep, so I am. Sorry if it echoes a little bit. I was just making sure that we were, good to go. Good to go. Not one of my, clip commands. I need a whole lot more of those. I see. Still can't get inside the Halaska Temple, Well, how about taking a look at the Spagonia site, then? Alright, my boy, I'm expecting good news! Well then, do you have any further questions? I don't think I grabbed any souvenirs. I need to remember to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and push the wrong button. Yeah, just shut up. That's a mood. Let me reset my deaths before I forget to do that. There will definitely be dying. Lots and lots of dying. Yay! Gotta love it when stuff works. But you've also gotta love when I'm being a complete dum-dum and going the wrong way. I think I mentioned last time I streamed this, it took me way too long longer than I care to admit, to figure out that Spagonia University is the giant building that you actually have to go inside. Because I didn't think you could go inside it, because, like, most of these buildings, like, you can't just walk into this random person's house, so why would you be able to walk into this random university? But yeah, that's where the Pickles lab is. He is studying how to make the proper cucumber sandwich, especially after he's been locked up for so long. Hey, Sonic, I wonder how you're supposed to get up there. Oh, I wonder how. I'm not allowed to yet. That's how. I need the, well, not the homing woo. I need something on that side of the field, so let's switch times of day. But yeah. Let me know how y'all are doing. If y'all or anybody. Oh my god. See, okay. On the very, very remote possibility that Microsoft is watching this, this is the only way you can play your Xbox over LAN. Otherwise, you have to use the stupid cloud thing that is way too freaking slow. Can you just fix that? Like, it would take you 3 seconds, guys. You know you can. It's just a matter of whether you will or not. But seeing as there's 0 viewers, I don't think Microsoft is just magically watching me. They probably don't care. Which is fair. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Me! I'd like to play a game. Let's go play a game. We're gonna play a game. Xbox.
What do you mean, we?
Yeah, I know. I started to play remotely for the nth time. Can we not crash again? That would be lovely. I've got to remember the controls. I've been playing the Wii version of this. The controls are very much different in that version. I actually like them better. You use the... I've been using the Xbox... Or, not the Xbox controller, the GameCube controller, and... it is much better than the motion controls, as I remember them. Camera? Ugh. Die! Thank you for dying. Your death is appreciated. Speaking of deaths, I did make the death command so that it will be able to have subscribers count my deaths if any of y'all show up. Whoa! Camera just clipped through that fence. Oh, shut up. I just told someone's in-game dog to shut up. Wow. Yeah. Not really much to talk about when I know there's no one to talk to it. Kind of defeats the purpose. My cat is rubbing against my legs for whatever reason. She probably wants attention. Say what you will about the night stages, but some of the music in these, like, it would make for a really nice, like, relaxation track. I have a feeling I'm sharing some bandwidth with people, because this is buffering a little bit. Usually wouldn't be doing that, but of course it does, because I'm live. It might also be that, too. Alright, let's kick this down a notch. See if that helps. Die, you dumb robots! So. Oh, poo. Checkpoint! I'll just smash those vases up. Oh, look, a stone! It is sadly not the Sorcerer's Stone. It won't be granting me any special powers. It's just a frickin' stone that they decide to put there for whatever reason. When there's only a couple stones, this is not an issue, but when I get to like having 5 or 6 of them, it's gonna be a real pain in my rear end, because I'm colorblind, so that's gonna be fun. Also, sorry if I sound plugged up. Allergies are definitely a thing, and I'm an allergy sufferer. It's gonna take something really, really big to break down that fence. If only there was a conveniently placed barrel to throw into it. Well, we'll discover that in a minute. I've gotta destroy some of these guys first. YouTube can't decide if I have a viewer or not, so if I have a viewer, welcome. If I don't, then welcome to nobody. Heck if I know. YouTube is weird. Did I miss one? Okay, no, it was just, oh. I was expecting me to trigger that. Sadly I didn't until, I asked that question, and now I look like a dum-dum. Ah, yeah! I trigger the sound command, but I don't have a free hand. And I'm afraid that would crash the Xbox app, because that's a thing. I think that's why it was crashing so much, is I kept clicking off of it. It doesn't like when you do that. Not one bit. Why? Heck if I know. As I said, if Microsoft somehow is, like, watching this back or something, please fix that, or make it so that your other Xbox app has LAN capabilities, because there's no reason to go all the way out to the cloud and back to your Xbox when the Xbox is literally like 5 feet from you. I don't need to report into Microsoft servers. I just need to cross the line and be good. Big guy! Don't crash. Oh, it wanted to. It really wanted to. Ooh. Can you, like, stop giving birth on stream? That's not something that most people would want to watch. This is, like, meant for everybody, dude. What the? Oh. I guess I'd never seen that animation that close before. I was just like, what the heck is happening here? What the heck is happening? What the high holy heck is happening? Did I miss something, or is it just looping? Yeah, it's just looping. It does that. Okay. Okay, that's all the Werehog music we've got for this millisecond. Gonna have a lot of it, which it's a great tune, don't get me wrong. Why they had to play it every single time you have a combat feat, I will never know. If there's a member from the 2008 Sonic team out there in the chat, you can let me know why you decided to do that. Maybe it was just a programming error, because programming is a pain in the neck. I feel for game developers and stuff like that, because I do, some programming on the side just as fun. You will almost never hear anyone say that they do programming for fun, but I do. I'm that weirdo. Yeah. Ooh. Come on. Die already. I know you're a nightmare. Welcome, the Unjolly Snowman says, hey, I just joined and I see that you're beating up a pregnant person on stream. I mean, it was their fault for just, like, showing up and challenging the Werehog. You know, this is evil Sonic in a way. You know, we have Dark Gaia energy in us. But that rattling aside, welcome, Unjolly Snowman. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining in. Got some new commands rocking. We got a little bit of a stream overlay started. You can see I've sectioned off some parts of the screen for the chat and alerts to sleep in and all that fun stuff. So we're slowly evolving from a completely inexperienced streamer to a somewhat inexperienced but still horrible streamer. Yeah, we have some commands. As usual, exclamation mark commands will tell you them all, or you can just guess. There is one hidden command that I did not put in the list that is purely just me making fun of myself. Anyway, ow! Can you not shoot me? Unjolly Snowman says they're doing good, just chilling for a bit until they have to go to work. Well, I thank you so much for coming in. I hope work treats you well. I don't know what you have to do for work, but hopefully it won't be very difficult for you, you know? Especially being the weekend, you don't want to have anything too harsh on anybody, you know? Like, obviously somebody's got to work during the weekends for the rest of us to have a weekend, but, you know. Yeah. Oh, I wish you the best of luck. If anyone gives you trouble, tell them that I told them to knock it off. Be like, actually, Dylan said I don't have to deal with that today. Ow. Okay, these Dark Gaia monsters do not understand how this works. Like, this is a one-way relationship. I punch them, and then they die. They don't punch me, you know. They're not allowed. They should not be allowed. I get some experience in here. Yeah, I've been playing a lot, just on my own time. I'd stream it if I could, but I need a capture card, and those aren't cheap. Maybe one day. Maybe someday. But I've been playing a lot of Shadow the Hedgehog, for GameCube. That's a good game, honestly. I've also been playing the Wii version of this game, which honestly, I'm starting to love. Like, it's not a bad game. It really isn't. Unjolly Snowman says, will do, they'll know the wrath of Nazo, I mean Dylan. I mean, yeah, my wrath could be a very dangerous thing to, subject someone to. Like, obviously, I try and be a pretty generically nice dude, you know. My whole point of, like, streaming and, like, anything I do, both in real life or digitally, is to help create good. But I will say there are things that will get me to just go dark mode, and you don't want to see that. You don't want to see it. It's not good for anybody. Least of all me, because then when I come out of it, it's like, holy crap, what did I just do? Anyone for Robot Puree? I've got about 7 servings of it to serve up. But yeah, I'd be very, very curious to see what someone would say. Would be like, oh, but this random YouTuber told me I don't have to deal with that today. They probably look at you and be like, what? You, what? Oh, I can unleash. That's a thing I'm definitely going to want to do. But yeah, and I do want to say this, like, I really no idea what I'm doing still. I've done this 3 times so far. I'm still figuring it out. Very glad that my little trick of, you know, just wiring my controller in has gotten around the disconnection error, because if you remember last time, my controller every 3 seconds and be like, oh, but I don't want to touch your Xbox anymore. So that also confirms the theories that it was wireless interference. I have a feeling it is interference from the 5 gigahertz band of my wireless, because Xbox controllers also operate, for whatever dumb reason, on the 5 gigahertz band. So if you have 5 gigahertz wireless, they can crosstalk, and apparently the languages that they use to conversate with one another are so similar that they will actually listen to each other and cause all sorts of nonsense. Unjolly Snowman says, ah, nice, you now know the power of a cable controller. Yeah, the cable that I'm using is from my Switch controller. Thankfully, it's all USB-C, so it really doesn't matter what you hook it up to. It's, you know, that's the nice thing about the USB standards, is they're just kind of like everything. But yeah, I have a USB-C cord running from my desk all the way over to my Xbox. It's not pretty, but it works. You know, wireless is a lot prettier because you don't have to have wires going everywhere, but wired is always better, because then you don't have interference. You have a guaranteed one-way path to wherever you're trying to get to. Oh, poop. I'm shocked I didn't just dive to the bottom and add a whole lot of time to a level. That's already going to take us way too long. That's one thing I will say that I really do like about the Wii version of this game. The night stages have the old school 9-minute limit to them. For those of you unaware, back in the early days of Sonic, talking like Sonic 1, 2, 3, you would have 9 minutes, 59 seconds, and 59 60ths of a, or 99 hundredths of a second, sorry, to complete the level. And if you didn't do that, it was an instant death, like I just gave myself. So yeah, they are not near as lengthy as what I was basically trying to say. The controls are definitely a lot different. They're not bad, like I haven't used the motion controls. I refuse to. I'm using my GameCube controller on that. Because I don't want to deal with Wii motion controls. Like, they're great for what they do, but especially, you know, we're talking several years later, they don't really stand the test of time. Sadly, motion controls kind of just died off. Unjolly Snowman, yeah, I know. I'm not looking forward to Eggman Land. Eggman Land, longer than 9 minutes. Dude, that's the least of your issues. It's the 9-minute mark. Like, you're talking... Last time I did Eggman Land, I think it took me, like, almost an hour. And mind you, like, that wasn't, you know... my first playthrough of this game. I remember the first time I played through this game, it took me a solid couple of days to manage to get through all of Eggman Land, because Eggman Land is very unforgiving. There's not many checkpoints in it. You are definitely limited by the number of lives you go in to it. You can tell I have 13 lives. There's a reason for that. I'm starting to stock up for Eggman Land. I'm hoping I don't burn through too many lives. How am I? Speaking of lives, how am I still alive? I didn't think I was going to be able to grab that ledge. But yeah, Eggman Land is torture. He asks, how's he still alive? And then just dies instantly. Unjolly Snowman, how am I not dead? Well, I am now. But I have no idea how I survived that. I think I just grabbed the ledge at just the right time, because I was... kind of a trick for those of you who play the 360 version of this. If you hold the B button, and it constantly searches for something to grab onto. So I just held the B button and prayed. And then the second it saw that ledge, it's just like, oh, that's something you can grab onto. So I'm gonna grab onto that. It's a nice little trick. Like especially when I'm climbing up stuff, I'm holding the B button down here because I don't feel like dying and falling all the way back down. Yeah, so I think that's what saved me. I admittedly don't know, though. I'd have to look at the debug log to see what exactly saved me, and I don't have that enabled, so... I don't have developer mode turned on my Xbox at all, let alone on Sonic Unleashed. 'Cause I'm not that concerned about what's going on behind the scenes right now. I just want to play what's in front of my face. Please grab on. But yeah, like that whole time that I crossed that gap there, I did not let go of the B button. It is the most useful thing ever. Because you're literally just telling the game, hey, if there's something to grab onto it. It can get you in trouble, so use it judiciously, but... Would anyone like the sound of saws in their ear? I know it's not near as bad for you guys because I have the volume balanced a bit better, but for me, all I can hear is...
Can I start over?
No! You cannot start over. That took me almost 18 minutes. I'm not doing that again. Watch me come back to this same level. I swear to heavens, if any of you want to clip that and then just throw it at my face in a few streams when I have to do metal hunting, and I replay this very stage, feel free to do that. I'm gonna make fun of myself for it if I remember. Unjolly Snowman says they didn't know that. They pray that it can land. Yeah, it is kind of a nice little way around the press and pray. Though you do still have a little bit of that, because it's not a guarantee. Ooh, my fuck's way. Sonic, I was waiting. Here, I've got something from the professor. I can't do a Tails voice. I'm sorry, my voice is way too deep. I think he came up with something after reading more of the manuscripts. Well, this is it. I'm not sure what he expects you to use it for, but hey! Oh, we got the camera. I know where I am in the story. But yeah, if you hold B, it will just grab onto anything you can. Well, it looks like you're dancing, Amy. I don't know why you're so confused about that.
Whoa, is there some kind of party going on?
It sure looks like it.
No, something's not right here.
Oh, he's possessed. Why couldn't the professor have just given us, like, a frickin' flashlight or something? Like, if it's the flash of light that's supposed to, like, unpossess people, like, we could have just used a flashlight, or, hell, just put him closer to the streetlights. Like, this is a generically, well, the area. Unjolly Snowman says she's spinning. Oh, spinning! Those are eyes. Thanks, I hate Sans Serif font for that very reason. I can't tell the difference. But yeah, she is definitely spinning! Spin to win! I don't know. I was trying to make some word out of L's and I's, and I was just like, what the heck are they trying to say? And then I just realized that I was being a dum-dum. So, that's my bad, Unjolly Snowman. Sorry about that. I now have a cat on my lap. My cat just decided, oh, I'm gonna be on your lap now. Hi. Yoink!
Hey!
Why he didn't, like, stay behind? Like, I know he's upset that Amy didn't recognize him earlier, but, like, he could have explained that all, even though Pickle will do so for us in a second.
You know Sonic?
Uh-huh.
Well, of course. He was here just a moment ago.
Tell me what's happened.
Well,
to
he
him.
ran off that way.
Tell me everything you know.
I'll happily explain everything over a plate of cucumber sandwiches.
I can't blame him for loving cucumber sandwiches. Like, I've never had a cucumber sandwich, but I do love cucumber, so I imagine that I would like one. I'm Jolly Snowman. How else are Sonic and Chip going to capture Dark Gaia in 4K? That's true. It could just be, you know, also, you know, we get a nice, crisp image of the Nightmare. Yeah, I know how the Flash works. I'm probably not going to do much with Flash. I don't like competing with other speedy guys. You know, I'm Sonic. I don't feel like dealing with the Flash, but I'm Bosh. I'll probably do it if it's like very clear, gets me a medal, or I just randomly feel like it. As I said when I started this, I'm not going for 100%. That would take way too ever-loving long. I'm just going for finish the dang game. Oh no! Looks like you've already... Oh. I like my version better. Oh no! Looks like you've already found use for the camera. That's terrible. I thought that was going to be completely useless to you. That was its whole point, my boy. Surprised, were you? Oh, thanks to my research on the Gaia manuscripts. Light shall put darkness around, it says. Quite so. It's only natural, even though you are in an incredibly well-lit area. I hope you'll put it to work saving people from Dark Gaia, my boy. Very well, then, shall we talk about the planet? Very important. Sonic, my boy, I managed to pinpoint another Gaia temple location. The manuscript suggests a temple lies somewhere in Junon. You know it, yes? You should see it on the world map!
Sonic.
Now make haste, Sonic. Get to Chaos Emerald to that temple, my boy. Well then, do you have any further questions? I don't. And Jolly Snowman says, oh no, you made a camera useful. Yeah. I read that completely wrong. I know it's oh ho, but I was just like, that's oh no. Oh no. Ba-da-da-da-da. Yeah, he just gave Sonic his camera because he's just like, I don't use it. It's like half dead, you know. It can only take 2 pictures at a time, you know. It's pretty useless. It'll probably serve no use to you at all. What? He found a use for it! Nonsense! Alright, let's go to the world map. I love the little world map globes. Like, I like to think that those are actually, like, things in the cities. Like, they just look really cool. I know that's a random thing to think about, but... A Jolly Snowman says, I'm gonna try an Eggman voice, so apologies, but... No way! I can't believe this! Grandfather hasn't come back yet. Where could he have gone? Oh, when I get worried like this, I get all hungry. There's literally a store right across the street from you that's operated by, like, some relative of yours that I don't remember. Go get some food, dude. You don't need to complain about this to me. Wonder where Grandpa went. I have an idea. Now that he's gone, I don't have anyone to play with. That's your biggest worry? Your grandfather is missing, and you're just like, oh, I have no one to play with, you know? Not worried that he's, like, in danger? Hello? I'm not trying to be a dink, but, you know, really? You know, priorities, people. Priorities. There's a lot going on that I don't really understand. I feel that. Everyone's all panicky about the Elder not coming back or something. Okay. Welcome to Junon. I only regret that I'm not able to give the two of you a proper welcome. Why? Well, you see, our village's most precious treasure is missing. The village elder went in search of it and hasn't returned. We'd go in search for him, but monsters lurk outside the village. I'll go find him. Oh, you do that. Fortune has indeed smiled upon us. Oh, heavens, look at me getting all misty-eyed. Please, you must head to the entrance stage at once. What is this treasure, anyhow? A good luck charm passed down for ages that, we credit it with keeping our village safe from disaster. Unjolly Snowman, man, my grandpa has gone missing. Now who's gonna play games with me? Yeah. That's like their biggest concern is it's just like, oh no, he's missing. Who's gonna play with me now? Like, I'm sorry, like, I know they're kids, but even they should understand the gravity of this situation. Like, your grandpa's missing. They just went toward an area that we just learned is infested by monsters, obviously. That doesn't spoil out for, you know, anyone, really, and especially, like, an older guy, like, unless he's just, like, jacked, then really there's nothing to say that he's not just dead. I have Lynn's permission. Let me in! Get out of my way! This aesthetic really is beautiful. I know each of the... I'm going to say that about, like, every place I go in Unleashed, because they all really look beautiful. But I love this place. It looks like a nice little place to go and just have a cup of tea. Mint tea, of course. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh no! Am I gonna have to start moon medaling this early? Wow. Oof. So I'm gonna apologize for that now. That's gonna happen several times where I'll be like, oh, let's continue the story. And we're not gonna be able to because I don't have enough medals. Unjolly Snowman says that they feel that Sonic could just pick this man up and out of his way if he wanted. Right? Especially as the werehog. Like, just yoink. Oh, I know what I need to do. And it's not here. But yeah, so we're gonna go and go somewhere else, because I need the ability to wall jump to get to where I need to go, I think. Gonna be a little bit of guessing as far as where I need to go. I haven't played this in a hot minute, and it's also, like, very unclear where the heck you need to go. Rooftop Run is where we get the shoes. I need my soap shoes back. But yeah, Sonic could absolutely just be like, dude, don't try me. Like, normal, like, daytime Sonic, probably not, but Werehog Sonic, absolutely. Joey Stillman, imagine if you wanted to play through Sonic Unleashed story, but Sega says, more medals! More! Yeah, that's basically what just happened to me, and I don't know why I'm going into pickle. But Sega decided to put me in a pickle. Maybe that's why. Yeah, that's like one thing that I don't love about Unleashed. Especially in later game, it gets really annoying because you have to be level 7. And that means you have to collect almost 200 medals. And it's absurd. Like, I get it. It was a good idea at the time. This many years later, it just annoys the heck out of literal everybody. Why do I keep going in here? That's not the entrance stage, you dum-dum. Probably because the entrance stage is right over there, so my brain's just like, but pickle. Yeah, that's one thing that I'm really enjoying thus far about the Wii game. I'm actually further into the Wii game than I am in here. Because the medals don't really matter. It's used to unlock extra content that you don't need. It's good to have, it's just you don't need it. Unjolly Snowman says, we always go back to the pickle. That's true. Like, every time you do literal anything, you do kind of go back to Professor Pickle. Am I just being a dum-dum? Do I have... I think I got the iron boots last time. So I should be able to stomp. 'Cause that's what I need to do. I need to, like, not be a complete dum-dum. Oh yeah, I have the iron boots. There we go. I could have done that the whole time, but did I? No, of course not. Sorry, I'm not the smartest gamer you'll ever meet. There's some pretty simple stuff that I will just completely miss. Yes, Unjolly Snowman, I couldn't resist that Super Nintendo 64 reference. The iron boots. Now I get the spring boots. Springs are made of iron, of course. Hey, you can wall jump now. Also, Sega here. But what if we hid an ability that Sonic should just naturally have behind a locked gate? That's a brilliant idea. No, it really isn't. Yeah, the boing shoes. Have I already done next stage here? Well, I guess I can check. Either way, I can do the day stage, I think. As long as I have enough medals for that. Levels? You want it? You got it! As long as you have enough metals, that is. Yeah, I did that. Okay, I thought so. Bonk. And another thing I honestly do prefer about the Wii version is switching between day and night is literally you go through a door. You don't have to flip a switch, you don't have to sit through a loading screen, really. But you can't complain that much, because the loading screens, like, take 3 seconds. This isn't Sonic 06 levels of loading screen, where it's just like, okay, now wait 20 minutes. What do you mean? Ugh. Sorry, I just had a grounder moment there. Unjolly Snowman, I'm imagining that was in response to me not being able to go there. Yeah, I think I have to do Chunan first. Which, if that's the case, I'm pretty much doomed to having to go back and do some medal hunting. So this stream might be mostly me medal hunting, but I'm gonna try not to do that. I might waste more time not medal hunting than I will just medal hunting. That's honestly a thing. Because it's just like, you don't want to do it and you really don't want to do it, but at the end of the day, you might have to. But now that I have the wall jump shoes, maybe I can get to Chunan Day. That's my thought here. I love the fact that they show the XML code for the Miles Electric. Like, that's really nice. It's a nice little incentive for people like me who are absolute tech geeks and love the fact that Tails is also a tech geek. Unjolly Snowman thinks I'm right, yeah. Okay. Air Boost! Well, that's not lit up, so that's not promising. As I ground pound instead. Well... the air boots! Yeah, I can't go here yet. Alright, fine. I'll do some metal hunting. Yeah. Not the most interesting part of the game, I'm afraid. I'll try and keep talking. Fill the void with my voice. There's another metal in here. I feel like I should know where these are without having to look them up. I'm going to regret saying that, but, you know. I'm just like, oh yeah, I've played this game enough times, I don't have to look them up. But yeah. I'm hoping to go, just kind of a heads up for people. This time slot is not like a permanent thing, unless it really works out that well, which it doesn't really seem like. Thank you so much for coming, those of you who did. Shout out to Jolly Snowman, the one of y'all I can see. There's supposedly another one of you out there, but, I think I did better when I was at the later slot, which is fair enough. Like, some people are probably at work right now. I didn't even really consider that. And time zones are a thing. Time zones are a weird and wacky thing. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to keep this to the whenever slot. I'll probably just go back to what I was doing before. I wanted to jump off. Thank you. But yeah, like, this music is just chill. Like, I have a feeling someone out there has put this in, like, a relaxation. Unjolly Snowman, did I find that one-side mill hidden behind the buildings in Windmill Isle Act 2? I don't know. I don't even know if I've done Windmill Isle Act 2. That's one thing that I also forget, is that, like, the act structure here is all over the map. Literally. So I forget that you can, like, go back and do other acts later on, which might be, like, 90% of my issue here. Where am I as far as how many medals I need? I need 2. Welcome, Skull. That's one area in the game that I had my progress stopped due to medals. Later levels, I went out of my way to complete Meta Collect 4. Also, Nighthug theme is clucking amazing. Yeah, welcome, Skull. Before I forget, Skull is doing a charity stream in about a month. So, do go and check him out. And then Dennis is also doing a stream later today. But yes, welcome, Skull. How you doing? Thanks for coming by. Let's swap today and see if I got the moon medals here. Because I only need 2, so if I don't have the 2 moon medals right here, I could hypothetically just get them. Yes! We love to see it. Skull says they've been alright. Just had their pizza because they're predictable. That's legit. I feel that, man. Yesterday I had someone point out to me the fact that, like, a lot of my schedule is pre-scripted. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does kind of make you a little self-conscious when somebody else points it out to you, because you're like, oh, yeah, I do that a lot, don't I? Yeah, hey, if you enjoy pizza, you'll also enjoy Sonic dying. I'm counting that, by the way. I know it didn't, like, take a life away from me, but that was just, like, that's a death, I'm sorry. I just sped into the water and it was just like, Sonic can't swim, you dum-dum. Oh, of course, Skull! I'm happy to plug for you. As I told you the other day, it's not like it's really gonna go far, but for what it does, I'll absolutely throw some links down. And Dennis's stream later is actually why we're doing this a little bit early today, because I did not want to overwrite that. Skull says Sonic dying and pizza are two very closely related subjects. Man, I could really go for a pizza, because I just died. Which I think I said this before, but if for some random reason you want to hear me try and voice act somebody, I'll certainly give it a try. It'll suck, but I'll give it a try. Try and keep it, like, generically deep voices, because as you can tell, my voice is just generally deep, but I can certainly try. Skull says that any word helps. Yeah, that's my thought. It's just like, well, it's something. You know, something's better than nothing, right? You know. Ow. I hate these little flying dudes. They are just annoying. And especially the bee! The bees are... Oh, boy. I feel like there's something in here that I should, like, get it. I thought there was metal back here. Maybe I'm just being dumb. Aha! You thought you could get away from me, Sonic. Yeah, the Angelic Snowman, the bees! Yeah, they're annoying. Especially in this game, because, like, the red bees, oh my heavens, they have, a homing ability, more or less, and they are not easy to hit, but they can hit you all the doodah day long. Whoa! Mind the gap, Sonic. Mind the gap. I almost just fell straight into the water. That would have been harsh. Yeah. I set up that sticky note just a little bit before I did the stream, because I wanted to have it so that I didn't have to copy-paste it a million times. Angela Snowman, yeah, I almost comboed myself straight into the water. They're advising me not to do that. Skull says, try Soviet General Cream, which is totally not a reference to stuff posts that you did a couple years ago. Oh god, I'm gonna have to think about that. Also, I know you're just trying to be, like, civil and nice, but I'm not that strict about swearing. Just don't, like, go nuts about it. Like, I know you mean a shit post, man. You can just say that. I appreciate that you're like, oh, but maybe he doesn't want me to swear, but you're good, man. I'm not that picky about it. Oh. Have you seen my comrade, Cream? Have you seen my comrade, Cheese? I've looked everywhere for them, and I can't find them. I don't know. I literally don't even know where to start with that, man. I haven't seen the reference post, so I have, like, no reference material for that. If you want to send it to me, I'll take a look at it later. And I can just send it to you personally if you want me to seriously try it. Like, yeah. Sadly, I can't really emulate a voice I've never heard. And yeah, you're fine. I appreciate that you were like, maybe I don't want you to swear, but I don't care as long as you don't go, like, too overboard with it. Also, B. Not the charmy kind. Those are a little bit more friendly. Oh, poo. I had to hit the B button for a B, and I missed it. How? But yeah, that I definitely want to see that shitpost, man, because that Soviet general creamed the rabbit. What the heck? Sometimes the random stuff that people come up with is just astonishing. It's great, but it's like, how? You know, how did you come up with that randomness? Unjolly Snowman, thank you so much for coming by. Glad to see you as well. Thank you for the good luck. I very much appreciate it. But yeah, I hope you have a good day at work. Hopefully that won't be too rough on you. And as I said, if anybody gives you trouble, tell them that I gave you a free pass from having to deal with that. And that death is dedicated to you, Unjolly Snowman. So have a good one. Thank you, Skull. I will take a look at that later. And let you know. I'd watch it right now, but sadly, whenever you click off of the Xbox Companion, it crashes. And I don't want to have to try and launch it like 27 more times to get it to actually work. I was saying earlier, if anybody from Microsoft is here, like, could you please fix that? Or just make this open source and I'll fix it? Yeah, I'm excited for Dennis's stream later today. As I said, that's one of the reasons I moved this, is I didn't want to overlap with that. But it'll be really fun to see how he goes through the entire movie from memory. How that man is going to remember the whole thing is beyond me, because my memory sucks. But he must have a much better memory than I do. Oh, you're fine, Skull. I'm sure they understand. Can you just die? Thank you. Woo! Whoa! I didn't know if it was gonna let me grab on there or not, because I kind of did that stupidly, but okay. Oh, we're already at the 1 hour mark. Time flies when you do this, guys. Especially when you're playing Unleashed, because these night stages, oh my heavens. They're good! They just take forever. Yeah. I've been trying to do a little bit of programming myself on the side for a project that I can't really get into. Both A, because it's not really complete yet, and B, because I don't know how far it's gonna go, and I don't want to, like, completely collapse the line between IRL me and online me. Even though I keep that line pretty thin, there are some things that I'm just like, I don't want people knocking on my door. I don't want people, you know, finding out stuff that they ought not to know. Yeah. So that's kind of like why programming was on the mind when I was like, you know, Microsoft could just make this program open source. They don't even use it anymore. They've replaced it. And I would have no issues going in and at least attempting to fix it. I'd probably make it worse, knowing me, but doesn't mean I won't try. Woo! It's time to unleash some havoc on these dudes. I'll just destroy the big guy first, because I can do that. Skull's favorite thing to do on Dragon Road Night is to skip the last bit of enemies before the giant door opens, go up on the one platform, grab an electric enemy, and throw it into the water, cover ground to wreck everybody's day. Yeah, that is one of my favorite tricks, too. I tried to pull that off, but my aim was terrible. Because there's a couple of places that you can do that Dragon Road with, is just annihilate everybody with one of those electric enemies. And it's fun as hell. But it's a little hard to pull off, especially when you haven't played the game in a while, because you don't know how to aim! Oh, can you go away, Mr. Wizard? I don't want you to tell me that I'm a hairy wizard. All the respect in the world to the now, unfortunately past voice actor for Hagrid. His name sadly escapes me at this moment. But yeah, please know I don't mean that in any sort of negatory way. It's just a nice little meme, something to remember him by, if nothing else. I feel like we've lost a lot of people in the past little bit, not gonna lie. This is like, every time you turn around, it's like, oh, so-and-so's dead. I know I feel like there's definitely a medal. Why do I feel like that was definitely a mistake? Because now I'm gonna have to do this all over again, but this time with no unleash. I thought that was an electric enemy for a second. I almost responded to Streamlabs. I almost gave the bot a response, because why wouldn't I, you know? It's a chat member, I guess. Which, Skull, I do have commands if you want to screw around with any of them. I don't know what you're up to, if you're just listening or goofing around or whatever, but I do have some voice commands and all that fun stuff, so... Alright, can you... Time to murder, a Nightmare. And yes, I call these Nightmarins. I've done that ever since I played Nights into Dreams, which I did for free because it was a giveaway they did during the 30th anniversary thing. It's a good game. It's a weird game. Robbie Coltrane, thank you, Skull. See, I knew I would recognize it, but it just was escaping my mind. So yeah, all the credit in the world, and thanks to Robbie Coltrane for all of his amazing work as Hagrid. I don't think they'll ever be able to have Hagrid in anything Harry Potter related again without him, because he just is Hagrid. It's like if Mike Pollock stepped down as Eggman. Like, no, we lose so much. Like, it takes so much conversion therapy, more or less. Apparently that message was too long. I gotta love how Streamlabs just doesn't tell me this stuff until I'm live. But yeah, so there's the commands. There's a lot of them. That's, but yeah, Death 8-Ball. You get a hug from Tails if you want one. I need to wire it up so that I have like the visual indications of them too, but right now it's just like an audio clip playing in my headset. Let's level up combat because I accidentally pushed that button. Streamlabs said a mean to you when you did this on a friend stream yesterday, but... Oh! Oh boy, you're taking the risk with the Tails 8-Ball. Will Skull ever find true love? What is Tails going to tell you? Tails is certain of it. Ooh. Hopefully that's a better result than you got last time. But yeah, Tails is certain that you will find true love, apparently. I would take his advice with a grain of salt, but hey, it's looking pretty in your favor. Which I'm admittedly, it's gonna be so confusing for me. I just realized this, if Tails the Prower ever comes into my streams, because all of my bots, like, well, not all of them, but 8-Ball and Hug are both Tails bots, so I'll be like, which Tails am I talking about? Am I talking about Tails the Prower or Tails the bot? Skull says, thanks. Their last response to that was, you're joking, right? Yup. Yeah, you never really know what you're going to get out of an 8-ball. That's kind of the whole point, more or less, but... sometimes they can be cruel. Inadvertently. I'm going to get a whole fistful of its plumage there. Quick time events! Woohoo! I'm so glad. Last night I did the Wii version of this fight, and I was so bad at it. And not that much change except for the buttons, because obviously you're not using an Xbox controller. You're using a GameCube controller, and it's just like, what do you mean I need to press this button? Or hell, you know, like, this button doesn't even exist on an Xbox controller. Like, when it says L, it's just like, well, Skull says it messed with their head when you learned that you're not supposed to... I'm sorry? You're not supposed to shake magic 8-balls? I didn't know this! I've been using 8-balls wrong this whole time. I don't have one anymore, but I used to have one, like, eons ago. And I always shook it. I thought that's what you did. Is you shook the ball, and then whatever was shown is what's its responses. How the heck are you supposed to randomize it then, if I may ask? Like, that... you just blew my mind. Like, you just messed with my head. Like, I know this isn't an exact match for the situation, but this is the closest command I have to how I feel right now. It's just, what do you mean?
What do you mean, we?
You know? Ow. I just got lit aflame. Anyone for Friday Rare Hog? But yeah, how the heck are you supposed to randomize the answer then? Because I swear to heavens that it said right on the box, you know, you shake the 8-ball and then it tells you what you're gonna do. But then again, as I said, I haven't had an 8-ball in years. This is just a programmatic 8-ball, thankfully, so we don't have to worry about shaking it up. I know forever ago I watched a video that was someone just taking apart an 8-ball to see what was inside. For whatever reason. It's basically dyed water and a multi-sided dye.
Looks like he runs out of breath eventually. That's my chance.
A lot of people think you're supposed to shake it. The little dye moves about on its own with regular handling. Ooh, okay, so you're just meant to, like, pick it up, basically, and then that little jostling will move the die in of itself. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess, like, the thing is that needs to be made a lot clearer, I guess, because as I said, you just blew my mind. Because, like, it's a die. You shake it. Like, that's what you do with dice. Like, if someone hands you a Yahtzee container, you're gonna shake it to high holy heck and hope for a good result. You know, it's the same idea. Sorry if I go quiet during the QTEs. They're just, you've got to focus, and especially because I've been switching controllers around, I have to actually physically look at the buttons to remind myself what buttons are.
Strike 3, monster. That's a
You're out!
Wow, I rule.
Skull said that it made much more sense to him that the one he had when he was 8 got messed up. The blue wouldn't show up very well, so the answers eventually became impossible to read. Oh! Oh, okay. Well, funny thing is that's why I got rid of my 8-ball, was I couldn't... the water inside got so dark that you couldn't tell what you were getting. So you would roll it up and then just... You'd get something, and you wouldn't be able to read it. So, yeah, I bet you that's why you're not supposed to shake it, is it mixes the dye up and makes it darker so that you can't freaking see what you're doing. I'd like to point out that this is the only Gaia temple that you need, like, a key to enter. Like, all of the other Gaia temples, like, you just kind of stumble upon them and walk on in. This is the only one that has a lock on it. Just saying. Skull says I had the right idea. Okay, yep. Yeah, that makes so much more sense. Like, if I had that old 8-ball that was, like, sitting right here and I was, like, kept it as a keepsake, that would have clicked a lot faster, but... That got thrown away. Oh, jeez, at least... 6 years ago? Jeez. I'm old, guys. I keep realizing that recently. Like, there's a lot of things where people are like, oh, well, this was X amount of years ago, and I'm just like, holy crap, I remember that like it was yesterday, you know? I know when that happened. Bonk. Get out of my way, Chip. The Dark Gaia Phoenix is beautiful. Like, the design that went into this was very well done. You know, it just looks epic.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Want some chocolate?
Chip is addicted to chocolate, which fair because I'm also a fellow chocoholic, but he just always has a chocolate bar on him. Skull says, me remembering stuff from the early 2000s, but you're like, right, man? Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Because time flies, but not in the way you want it to. Like, it just is very weird. Oh, one of our favorite cutscenes, Vindo actually did a recreation of this like forever and a half ago.
Your dinner, Doctor.
One whole sub.
What's the progress on the Dark Gaia-powered Eggman Land construction?
Hey there, Mr. Scoot. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today?
This is 27% complete. Progress is significantly behind.
How did you eat that so fast?
Cause of delay is Dark Gaia's dispersion across the globe.
Oh, of all the lazy, here I go to the trouble of waking that Dark Gaia thing up.
Yes,
And it
welcome.
causes me nothing
Glad to
but
hear you're
delay.
good. We got some new commands. Yes, we've got the Skull 902. I will also trigger my sticky note.
I don't want to hear
Because there is some stuff going on. But yeah, very much welcome in.
This is unacceptable.
Ergo, this is the repercussion of your hasty actions.
What is that?
A lot of people call this robot Ergo because he says Ergo so much.
Please, fetch that professor.
I call him Orbot too. I was literally gonna say that, Skull. Are you in my head right now?
That, Doctor, is the result of the power of the Chaos Emeralds, which you discarded along with
What do you mean, we?
But yeah, this is definitely frickin' Orbot. It's just, all you have to do is paint his head red, and it's Orbot. That look!
Anyway, what's the status of the remaining temples of Gaia?
Eggman forces have currently secured all locations. Defensive preparations are nearly complete.
Yeah, and you got a new voice chip, but one that actually works.
The problem of Dark Gaia. It'd be difficult to collect every piece scattered all across the world.
And I'm way too lazy to do that.
Thanks for topical advice. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a
My favorite one of these advices is this one.
Nobody likes a whiner.
Nobody likes a whiner egghead, just do it.
Way, so we do, well, I don't know, gather them all up at once.
Though then again, he's too lazy to walk across the room, which I can't say much because I'm in a chair with wheels, so I'm too lazy to walk around my room half the time. Yeah. Skull, you're right, yeah. Just replace the voice chip, give him a paint job. You got a Warbot. Hello, Juke. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Good to see you, bye. I don't know why, but I always take the back alley. I think it's because this is how I actually figured out that that big frickin' building right there is Spagonia University. I was just wandering around and I was like, oh, it's right there. Alright, let's see what the professor has to say. Da-da-da-da. Wonderful! Another face has returned. Good work, Sonic Malloy. Keep going at this rate, and the planet will be good as new in no time. Duke's alright, that's good to hear. How am I? I'm doing pretty good. Enjoying some streaming. Getting excited for, Dennis's live stream later today, where he's gonna be reciting Sonic Movie 2. But yeah, I'm having a pretty good day. I'd love to see the look on that Tiger Man's face right about now. Speaking of that menace, it appears he's become quite active as of late. I've heard reports of strange robot sightings here and in Chunon. Gives me the chills just to think of it. See what you can find out. No. I should probably start getting souvenirs, so, I've been completely neglecting, to do that. Skull says to make sure to say hi to Amy. I will certainly say hi to the best anime for you. She should be right out here. And yes, Skull also has a charity stream coming out. I'm actually in there too. Have some links. If at any point you want to fire that off, Skull, it is enabled for mods too. So yeah, there's some links. Skull will be doing a charity stream on November 5th for Beaumont Children's Hospital, and I am planning on being there if I can. Amy's just furious because I was literally not paying any attention to her. Where to next, Sonic? Can I come with you? Come on, I just want to be with you. What are you looking? Are you even listening? Well, I wasn't. I was that time. You're welcome, Juke. But yeah, just, go and support some amazing people. I wasn't able to, see Extra Life last year, but I know Skull does some pretty nice stuff for that, and that, it's definitely for a good cause. And, Dennis will be doing his, Sonic 2 stream for the Transgender Law Center, which is certainly something that, is a valiant cause. So some pretty good causes going around here. One of these days when I get big enough, I'll definitely do a charity stream myself, but I have a feeling that'll take quite a while. Because I'm not in this to make money. I'm just in this to have some fun, so if I can benefit people while doing that, that's something I'd certainly love to do. Okay. And thank you, Skull. Yeah, feel free to plug yourself. I didn't have the Twitter link when I made the sticky note, so I was just like, I'll just use his YouTube channel, it'll be close enough. Yeah, more info at that link that Skull just shared. Absolutely something worthy your time if you can make it. You know, if you can't, then stuff happens. We understand it. It's just, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. You don't have to donate either. That's just one of those things where it's just like, if you can, that's awesome. If you can't, then just being there means a lot to us, and does help out. Oh, come on! And yes, Juke, you are very right. Both Skull and Dennis are doing some amazing work. All the credit in the world to the both of y'all. And as I said, I'm hoping to join in for Extra Life, so that I can kind of be a part of it in a way. But yeah, they're doing some amazing work. It's good things to definitely put some attention towards. And yeah, I'm sure they very much appreciate the support. Skull can confirm that himself, as he just did. Dennis is probably sleeping. Over in Japan, it's... Oh, what time is it? Hey Google, what time is it in Japan? The Google Assistant doesn't feel like paying attention to me right now, apparently. Hey Google, what time is it in Japan? Yeah, it's 4 a.m. for him, so he's probably catching some Z's. Thank you, Skull. You're definitely more reliable than the Google Assistant. That took a couple fires. Which I know he was saying last night, for him, that he was getting pretty nervous about it, so... I definitely wish him all the best of luck. I'll be there, as a viewer, to help out as best I can, just to cheer him on and that sort of stuff. Whee! Okay, yeah. So I go back here. That's where I'm supposed to go. As I said before, I'm sorry if I'm not, like, the best gamer. I haven't played this game in a while, and I'm just generically not a good gamer, so, you know, I love the game, but I'm not very good at it. Oh yeah, Skull, it's definitely an understandable position. Big-time streams are always... Even when I did my first stream, and hell, even when I'm getting ready to do one, it still scares the heck out of me, because it's just... It's a new thing for me, and I know I'm not going to have that many people watching, but it's just like, well, I'm going to make a fool of myself in front of however many people do bother showing up, which thank you for those of you who do. I appreciate the heck out of it. And for those of you who might watch the VOD of this, that's fine. I just ask that you leave a comment so I know that you like actually watched it. There's no way for me to tell that people watch this if there isn't like some sort of indication. Because YouTube is very weird about how it does views and stuff. It will count my own views. Mr. Scoot with the truth, I do have some serious short-term memory loss sometimes. I'm sorry that that's so quiet. Unleashed is very loud. I have it turned down for you guys, but still, the audio mix on that's not gonna be wonderful. Oh yeah, well, and it's just like, I'm not new to this game, but I haven't played it in like a solid year, so I was like, I'm going into this more or less without reliable experience, so there is also that bit of, you know, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just kind of pushing buttons and hoping for the best. Like I was saying earlier, on my first stream of this, I'm not really worried about the medals, for whatever dumb reason. I'm gonna pay for that. Oh, you meant streaming? Okay, well, yeah, that's also true. I thought you meant, like, the literal game. That's my bad. But yeah. My whole point in doing this is I'm trying to become a more active member of the community. trying to do some more stuff. Because there were things in progress to get me kind of more into it, and other means that kind of fizzled out. So I'm not a very patient man. I like to do things my own pace. So here we are. Juke says that they just checked out Skull's thread, and that Skull's doing some amazing stuff. Yeah, Beaumont Children's Hospital is definitely a good place for it to go, and Skull does some pretty amazing stuff just on his own. But yeah, it's definitely a worthy cause. We don't want anybody getting sick and not be, you know, anyone getting sick and being in a predicament where they can't, you know, afford to live, you know. Oh, poo. I just ran right past the moon medal. Yeah. There's a lot of very good charities out there. And I know just even in my personal life, like, anytime they ask me, you know, oh, hey, do you want to round up your purchase for charity? I always do. Like, I know it's not much. It's like, you know, at the most $1 that I'm going to be donating. But the reality is A, they're going to do more with that dollar than I'm going to do with it. And B, it's, you know, it's something. You know, if everybody in the world donates $1, that's a couple billion bucks right there, you know? You know, it's not... And to me, it's just like that extra, you know, couple cents. I don't care. You know, I'm not going to use it. Might as well give it to someone who will, you know? Welcome, Rachel Shielder. How are you today? Or Shielder, or however you pronounce your last name. I have a feeling that you're the one that I was pronouncing the last name wrong on. My memory is, very bad. While we're taking a second here, let me turn up the, you don't need to see the chat bot. Give me 1 second here, folks. Glad you're doing well, Rachel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I already asked that. But yeah, I'm just pushing some buttons here real quick. Thank you for your patience in advance. But yeah, that's just gonna drive me insane if I don't turn it up. Let's do there. Okay. Sonic 2 with Super Eagle filter, I see? No, that's actually...
And I have serious short-term memory
There we go.
loss. And I have serious short-term memory
This, though I did use several layers of filtering, I actually hand drew this. It... More or less. I sketched over it, and then color blocked it out, and then slowly just implemented each little detail. So this was like a solid month of drawing down the details in Clip Studio Paint. So yeah, it is filtered, obviously. I used a lot of filters to try and crisp it up, but some of the actual filtering stuff was done by yours truly. Every time I look at this, somebody pointed out to me, Tails' left eye, my wrist a few years ago, I broke it as I was bike riding. So whenever I use it too much, it locks up on me. And you can tell that I did this while my wrist was starting to lock up, because this is literally like I just shaded in exactly as it appears in the original. And it looks very pixelated, especially as opposed to his other eye where I have the nice, smooth, you know, relatively smooth curves. But yeah, I do... some quote-unquote art. That's why I call my art quote-unquote art, is because I take the original, I do some tech trickery to make it look nicer, and then I go through and actually physically redraw it, making corrections as I see fit. This was one of the first and biggest ones that I did. But yes, Rachel, I always need to push buttons. Juke says they're going to be in and out. They're like 30 seconds behind from the stream because they're downloading Fallout 76. You're fine, man. I appreciate you being here. I don't care if you're behind. I have lurk and unlurk commands if you're just lurking around, but, you know, like, I'm not going to yell at you for just chilling around. That's all I'm doing, really. You know, all this is just me fooling around in the game, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this alone. I want people with me. Which, speaking of, Skull, if, obviously you don't have to, but if anytime you do want to, like, come on to the stream itself, just let me know. I'll push a button and let you on in. It'd be pretty rude if I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that on your stream, but you can't do it on mine. So yeah, there's that. As far as my wrist is concerned, it's not that bad, but sadly it's one of those things where it's just like, once you break something and it heals up, it's never the same, you know, and no matter what you do, it will never be the same, you know, it's just permanently messed up. Yeah, my wrist feels fine now, Rachel. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. But yeah, I remember when someone pointed that out, I was just like, oh god, that's where my wrist's locked up. That's why I admittedly don't do much stuff like that, because it hurts, literally, if I do it too much. Like, typing doesn't do it, for whatever reason. And there's some things that won't trigger, but it does seriously happen when I'm, like, drawing or writing or anything that's, like, extremely intense on the wrist. So I'm sorry to hear you've had to experience it, Rachel. It's not a fun thing. I remember when I broke my wrist, it was kind of hilarious because I wasn't worried about my wrist at the time. I had some road rash on my kneecap, and I thought I broke my kneecap. That was my worry, because I could feel the pain, and I could see the blood, so my brain was like, oh, well, pain is coming from the place that has blood. No, the pain was from my wrist. But my body was just not, my body wasn't ready. Yeah, and I remember having to get my bike repaired from that. KN was talking the other day, she had to get her bike repaired because of a much less self-involved reason. Like, I had to get my bike repaired back then because I wrecked it. You know, it was my own stupid fault. Poor KN, someone stole the tire assembly off of her bike. And when I say the tire assembly, I mean, not only are you talking the actual, like, inflatable tire, you're talking the gears, you know, more or less the powertrain of your bike is just gone. And that's horrible. Like, one of the great things about living in the middle of nowhere East Coast, nothing like that would really ever happen around here. You know, nobody's really, you know, we're all pretty close around here. But, you know, I feel really bad for KN. She was talking about how expensive that was. Yeah, I remember when I had to get my bike repaired. Thankfully, it was a gift from my parents to get it, like, redone, but I know that was at least, you know, a couple $100 anyways. Rachel says they had their original phone stolen from them once. Oof. I'm sorry to hear that. That's... I know criminals aren't gonna watch this, but hey, if you out there are for some dumb reason watching this stream and you're a criminal, don't, please, like, there's no real good reason for you to steal stuff from people, you know? It's rude, it's mean, and it's really not, that's no good, you know? Skull says that his brother and himself had bikes stolen 2 years apart. Terrible times, especially for him, because it's a bike he won in a contest. Ouch. Like 6 months prior. Yeah, that stinks, man. Like, not only did you lose your bike, but you lost it after you literally won it. Like, Rachel says that it was an iPhone 6. They had a newer version of that. But then they traded it for a newer phone, which is their current iPhone 10. Ah, nice. But yeah, criminals are criminals, and I get it. Like, it's a thing that exists, but there are much better ways to make a living for yourself. Alright, well, poo. I need sun and moon medals. Let's see if I have any in the hub worlds. Like, I know there's one here, but I don't remember where the heck it is. I should know where these are, like the back of my hand by now, but I feel like it's back in this bamboo reefs sort of area. Is that it? What the hell is that? No, that's just a shiny spot in a rock. Wow. Okay. Alright, well, let's do some metal hunting for a minute here. And yes, I'm counting that as a death. I quote-unquote died. I know the game didn't punish me for it, but I'm gonna punish me for it, because I feel like I deserve punishment for that. Alright, I'm trying to remember where I can go. Let's go back to Apatos. I should have, like, Acts 2 and 3 open now. Also, don't know if I ever... You need... To level 4, I need, personally, 10. I don't know what the magic number is. Well, actually, it'd be 45. Juke says lag on their end is over. Good. Hopefully that wasn't, like, I know you were saying that you were downloading something, so that's probably on your end. But hopefully that wasn't on my end. I did fool around a little bit with some of the connection settings, but YouTube doesn't love the fact that I share my bandwidth, because I'm... You know, there's other people in this house that also use internet capabilities that need the internet, and when they use it, it obviously takes away from the net pool of how much is available. We call that bandwidth. And it doesn't love it. It'll start yelling at me and be like, hey, you do know that you're not getting all of the bandwidth. Skull knows that there's a couple sneaky sun medals in Windmill Isle Day 1. Yeah, right now I'm just getting easy ones that are in the hub stage, because I always forget about them, but they're also, like, consequently the easiest ones to get. Usually sometimes they're a bit snickier than others, but these are also the ones that, like, I remember where they are the best. So I don't want to have to pause the game and look up where the hell I have to go. Because that's not very fun for you guys to watch, you know. I'm trying to be somewhat entertaining, and I know I'm not good at it, but, you know, I can at least try. Juke says they love this game. One of the first ones they got for their 360. Yeah, it's a good game. It's a really good game. I admitted, I'd kept this a secret for years. I originally, the first time I played this was the Wii version. I used to have that back when I was, like, I want to say, like, 9 or 10, give or take. And I always took things way too seriously in video games, especially back then. And when I watched the world break apart, that scared the literal crap out of me. I gave the game to one of my parents, and I instructed them to never let me play it again. Which was hilarious when several years later I would pick it up on my Xbox One, which thankfully is backward compatible. And then I realized that you can put the world back together again, and I felt like such a dumbass. Not gonna lie, I was just like, that scared me. Skull, thank you so much for the support there. Dylan, I don't know why you put the second D there either. Probably a typo. Duke says they didn't even know there was a Wii version until this year when they got back into Sonic. Yeah, it's one of the lesser-known versions of the game. It's a good game, at least from what I've played of it. Some people complain about it. People complain about this game less than they used to. I remember back when I was in, like, middle to high school, people were... If you even so much as mentioned this game, it was, like, a riot, you know? Because it was just like, what the Werehog stage is. And yeah, they suck. They do. I'm sorry. But they're also, like, the most aesthetically pleasing levels in the entire game. Like, yeah, you're gonna pay up the wazoo, with the night stages, and, yeah. Skull says it was super divisive when it first came out. Yeah. This was 2008? Maybe I'm putting things in the wrong order here. I have, as I've said several times, I have a horrible memory, so it could have been, you know, a lot different timing than I'm remembering it to be. How am I still alive? Which I need to start working on the next episode of that. Like, nobody watched it, but... 2008. Okay, so I'd definitely not have been in high school or middle school then. But that doesn't mean we couldn't have been, you know, talking about it. You know, there's nothing to say that you can, you know, not talk about a game after it's been released. You know, here we are, quite a few years past, and I'm talking about it. I'm playing the dang thing. Duke says they like the Werehog. I do too. I appreciate it more now than I did back then. Not gonna lie, I thought there was a spring on the end of that. 2008. Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't admittedly know what I have been doing at that point in time, because I forget how the math works, and I don't feel like doing math. You're not... Yeah, because I would have been about 7 at the time, so I don't know what grade level that equates into. Probably like 4th or 5th, so maybe middle school. Oh, you come on! Juke says they weren't old enough to... I'm not counting that because I was tossing it in things. Thank you, Skull, for the math there. Juke says they weren't old enough to play it. They were 4 when it came out. Played it later when they got their R2-D2 Xbox for Christmas. Yeah, I was not old enough to play this when it came out by any means. When I got my Wii, which was when I turned... was the clear... Black. I'm tripping all over my words here, folks. Sorry. But that was around when I was 10, I want to say, and I was just, you know, barely old enough to cross the ESRB threshold. Or no, I was 9 at the time, because I remember thinking that I wasn't gonna, you know, be allowed to play it. Like, I was gonna get myself in all sorts of trouble, by trying to play this thing when I was not old enough to do so, according to the ESRB. And as I said, it scared the living crap out of me. I didn't get past when you get to see the world map. That was the part where I left off. Looking back at that, that was extremely stupid, but I was extremely stupid back then. Juke says that Xbox is probably worth a lot of money now. I have no idea. I wouldn't be the one to ask. Honestly, to me, the value of games and gaming systems is always very weird to me, because to me, some of my games, like... Oh, come on! Some of my games, there's no price that you could name that I would sell it to you. You know, like, there's so many memories and stuff attached to them that it's just... I don't think you're getting it from me. But there's other games that I'm just like, I don't care about this, and they're worth a lot of money for no reason, you know? So, it's a very weird kind of, like, algorithm that decides, you know, how much your game is worth. Like, this game? Not worth that much, essentially, because it's a freaking digital copy. As I die for the billionth time. I don't think that Death Plus is gonna work, but... yeah, it's not going to. Fun. I'll deal with that later. Or, if one of y'all... I'm doing really bad. I'm sorry. I'm being really bad at this. But yeah, I think I need to pay attention. How am I still alive? Yeah, so I'm gonna try and put more focus into the game and less focus on chat, because I was definitely getting carried away with me chatting. Yeah, yeah, Skull, when I was, even today, but especially when I was little, I was obsessed with, like, rules and requirements. So when I saw the ESRB rating and it said 10 plus, I'm not counting that. That's bullshit. I'm counting it. Yeah, your views might be skewed up too. But yeah, like, I was way too concerned about stupid stuff like that. Like, nowadays, not so much. They said, Juke said is that they saw Gotham Knights with $70. That's annoying. Only good-looking costumes in the game are in the $90 deluxe edition. $90 for a game is freaking insane. I remember, one of my videos that I did was, of the, Caterman something or other. It's the Lotus Super 7 with some work done to it. And I did a video on that, and I painted it up because canonically, according to Judy Totoida, that's Tails' favorite car. So I got it all suited up and put Miles Electric sticker on it, or Miles Motors on it, rather. And the very first comment that I got on that video was, do this in Forza 5. And I actually looked up how much that would cost me, because I don't own Forza 5, I only own Forza 4. And it's like $90 if you want, you know, all the expansions and stuff like that. And that's insane! Like, back when I started gaming, like, I remember you could walk out of a store with, like, several games for $20, you know? That wasn't that bad. Then it became, you know, $20 a pop. Wasn't bad. And nowadays it's like $60 plus, and it's like, that's insane. Rachel, yeah, Sonic's death screen, death sound is pretty insane. And yes, Skull, $90 for a frickin' Forza game. Mind it's the deluxe edition, but that's literally, like, you don't get much more. You get some free credits, which you can earn by the bucket full just by playing. And then you get the expansions, which are content expansions that literally should be part of the game to begin with, in my opinion. They do said Assassin's Creed Valhalla Ultimate is over $100. Yeah, I know. I'm not into Assassin's Creed or anything like that, but I've seen some of the prices. That game isn't even that good. Who's spending that much money? Rachel says $90 just for that. That's insane. Yeah, it is, and that's why I told that person if I could get a subscriber for every dollar, I'd have to pay for it. then I would do it. So if I reach 90 subscribers, I will purchase the game just to do that. Oh, come on! Can someone in chat, sadly it is subscribers only, can someone in chat count that death for me? Just exclamation death plus. I'm not gonna... I'm not... I'm getting salty, boys. And girls, and others. Whoa! Thank you, Skull. Don't know if it'll let you do it that fast twice, sadly. Because there is a cooldown on it I need to shut off. But thank you so much. Anyways... Game over, yeah! Skull says they've said it before and they'll say it again. If you're looking to buy older games, do so locally. Price gouging is still there, but it's usually not as bad. Abso-frickin-lutely, man. I'm going to finish this level, by the way. I don't care if it takes me the rest of the stream. Yeah. So, the number's 19. I'm not counting that last one, because that was seriously the game. I hit the A button and it didn't do anything. That is the most rigged rail ever. I agree, Rachel. This is not one of the DLC levels. I don't have the DLC on this. I don't think. Because I don't think the DLC is just like extra levels, but they don't have any medals in them, so it's literally pointless. Because the only reason you need more levels in this game is to go medal hunting. Which is why I was doing this in the first place, so why I'm concerning myself about finishing a level is beyond me. Because you don't need to finish to get the medals. The medals autosave, which is... Oh, that is a blessing. That's not, though. Yeah, this level comes standard with the game. I don't have any of the DLC. I might pick those up. I've thought about it. I just don't see the point, really. It's just like, I have a hard enough time playing this game as it is. Holy crud. I know I'm at freaking 20 deaths. But, like, how many of those deaths were just this level? Like, come on. I'm bad at this. I am very bad at this. I'm sorry, guys. Also, I know I said this before, and I'll probably say it again, but I apologize in advance if I get your pronouns wrong. I kind of default to the male pronouns, he, him, his, that sort of stuff. It's not out of disrespect, it's just kind of what I go by, and so my brain's just like, well, use those. Rachel, new record! Yeah, that... I don't think I've died that many times in anywhere but Eggman Land. Ever. Like, I'm trying to think, like, in this game, I don't think I'd ever die that much. I'm gonna do that as the Werehog, because I don't feel like... which I did not realize at first that you could do that as the Werehog. I thought you had to do the very precarious... I'm not counting that! I got Homing Woo! For those of you uninitiated, the Homing Woo is the very, 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 very annoying fact that they added the boost button and the homing attack to the same button. I don't know why. Nobody can tell you why, because nobody knows. Skull said that they made sure they got all the DLC for this in 06 last year to make sure they were tied to their Xbox account in case they take them out. Yeah, see, I'm probably gonna do that sooner or later, because I do want them, just to have them. It doesn't matter if I ever use it. Eggman Land. Oh god, yeah. Eggman Land will break you. I don't care how good of a gamer you say you are. Eggman Land is hard. It's not that it's like a very harsh level. You know, it really isn't. It's just grueling because you don't get mini checkpoints. You're stuck with the amount of lives that you go in with. So unless you do some farming, like you've done, Juke, by the sounds, you're going in with however many lives you come in with, and that's all you get. You know, so when I went into it the first time, I went in with like 4 or 5 lives, and I was like, that's fine, you know, because normally a level doesn't take you more than that. Eggman Land will take you at least 10. And that's saying you're a good gamer, like, and you've done it before. Now if I could just... Skull, now if I could just hook up my 360 one of these days and get a hard drive so I can actually install the DLC in SA2. Yeah. Space, disk space is always a thing. I remember when I got, my last computer, was the first time I had a terabit of data. And when I bought it, I was just like, you know, that's 1,024 gigabits. And that's insane. Like, I'm never going to use that. And then I got this machine, and I started installing my stuff back on, and started installing some new stuff that it could do, because this computer is much more powerful than my old one. And I very quickly used up its terabit drive, so I had to get another drive, and I was just like, wow. Juke, I've also never played Sonic 06. I've also never played, Project 06. That was a very dumb way to word that, but yeah, I've never played Project 06. I've meant to. Maybe someday. It's just a matter, I have to find a reputable place to get it from, because I don't know like where the official place is to get it, and then I just have to install the dang thing. That part's easier. That part is click a few buttons, you know, you're good to go. Yeah, disk space is so weird, because you always think you have plenty enough, and then you're like, I'm out. And when you run out of disk space, it's a horrible experience, because you've got to go into crunch mode then, because you've got to get rid of something. And the funny thing is that, you know, what you're getting rid of will be more than what you installed, because, you know, whenever you install something, it always takes a little of your disk that doesn't need, so that it can grow. Because there's updates, there's save files, there's whatever. So it'll claim a certain amount of your disk space, and then it'll only use, like, part of that. And when you uninstall games, some of them won't unclaim that space, thinking that you might be uninstalling and reinstalling. And when they do that, that is horrible, because you will lose, like, a couple gigs of space, which doesn't sound like much until you do it a few times. This is one of the longer levels. I don't know why I'm playing it. Oh, oof. Yeah. Skull's saying they got stuck with, they went with a 4 gig 460. Mixed feelings on that. It's a criminally small amount of space to work with, but it also meant that they had money left over to get gens and the headset keyboard attachments that they hardly ever used. Yeah... 4 gigs is not much. I know I was actually talking to one of my professors. They're trying to set up a virtual machine lab. For those of you who aren't aware what virtual machines are, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a machine that's not actually a real machine. You run it on top of another machine. And one of the biggest issues with virtual machines is how much do you give them? Because, you know, you have to give them some of your resources, but you don't want to give it all. Because you want to be able to run the underlying OS still, because you're basically running a computer inside of your computer. And that means that you're left with criminally small amounts of stuff to work with. So I was telling my professor, I'm just like, if you can, physical machines are the way to go, or have like a VM sphere or a Hyper-V cluster where you can have a machine that literally is dedicated to doing VMs and nothing else. And even outside the world of virtual machines, disk space it comes at a price, you know? And that price is both physical, you know, like out of your wallet, and with what you can do with it. Because if you buy a lot of storage, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But you can do a lot in that space. If you get, you know, the least amount of space you can get, like a 4 gig Xbox 360 or something like that, it's going to be cheaper. But you're also limiting yourself with what you can do. You're going to need to get an external drive at some point to expand on it. Yeah, it's an operator for a freaking emulator for operating systems. I have messed around with it for a couple different versions of Windows. I've run almost every version of Windows. I won't say every because that would be very hard. But I've done Windows XP, Windows 95, I've done Vista, I've done 7, 10 obviously. It was the first place I tried out 11 back when it was still a mess. But yeah, it's fun. I use VMs all the time because I am, as I mentioned, all the goddamn time, I am an IT guy. So virtual machines are a godsend because they mean that you can create a machine that doesn't actually exist out of the hardware that you already own, so you don't have to spend anything more with it. You can use software like Oracle's VirtualBox, that's what I use, which is open source and therefore free. And it's great because you can literally break it, you know, you can go in purposely thinking, you know, I want to absolutely annihilate this machine, you know, like in Linux, if you ever wonder what will happen if I run, RMRF wildcard or RMRF /. For those of you not Linux users, which is probably all of you, that command is literally telling your Linux operating system, remove forcibly and recursively everything. And that will destroy your machine, obviously. If you do it in a VM, you can watch it happen. And then you can hit the undo button, which is great. Juke says virtual machines are cool. They've seen some ordinary gamers show off some crazy virus into them. Yeah, and that's the other cool thing, right? Is like, if you set it up properly, please keep that in mind. There's some extra setup you have to do if you're going to be putting stuff on that machine that you really don't want breaking out. Like their virtual machines are going to be more or less custom made to make sure that the virus cannot get off of that machine. You know, like there's no way, because there are viruses that can talk to the virtualization software that you obviously don't want happening. But especially with a lot of older viruses and stuff, you know, and just if you're curious, you know, VMs are a safer way to wonder, you know, okay, well, what would happen if I installed such and such a virus on a machine, you know, both before and after the patch, you know, that's more or less how they test it in-house, you know, at Microsoft or wherever, is they take a virtual machine and they see what it does, and then try to see if they can't make something that undoes that, you know, or makes it harder to do that, you know. But as I said, you've got to be very careful, especially with Heartbleed and, oh, what's the other one? Fudge. I should know these like the back of my hand. The other Intel Core bug, the big one. Because there's Heartbleed and then there's one other, that it literally, will cut straight to your CPU to do the evil, which means if you're a virtual machine, it's contained, yes, but then it will go outside to talk to your CPU to do whatever it's doing and gain full control of your machine anyways. Rachel, yeah, viruses are a pain. You have to, you know, as a tech guy, I know some of the stuff that happens behind the scenes with the virus, you know, you have to. The only way to stop a hacker is to know how the hackers are hacking. And there's a whole field dedicated to it now, that I'm minoring in, which is cybersecurity, you know. Which, when I started IT, back when I, you know, this would be But back when I started, cybersecurity wasn't even a thing when I started IT, okay? You know, back when I was 5 or 6, you know, 2006 and 7, cybersecurity was a word that was very seldom breathed, you know? Like, we had some stuff that was like, oh, well, it's security, but it was IT security, and that was a very different thing, because IT security was just based on, okay, well, we have stuff, we want to secure it, and we don't care how you do it. You know, it just needs to be somewhat secure, and it needs to be, you know, and that's the key word, too, is somewhat. Like, you don't have to have 100% security. You know, good enough is good enough. Skull says, running software made for older versions of Windows without any additional complications of running on newer Windows sounds like a good time. Classic Movie Maker for XP or Vista, hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. That is one of my favorite things about, like, Windows VMs is they're time machines, right? You know, you can go back to these older versions of Windows and run programs that won't run anymore for various reasons. Some of the reasons that they do that admittedly kind of tick me off, like Movie Maker. There is nothing. I've actually done a independent thing on this. I don't know, if people are interested, I might do a video on it, but there's actually like several very good pieces of software that you can run on Windows 10 and 11. I'm assuming 11, because 11 is just lipstick on the pig that is Windows 10. I'll get back to that. But you can run Movie Maker on Windows 10 with virtually no issues. As Skull said, like, yeah, you're going to have a few complications. Some of the stuff has changed. But you don't have... Why they didn't, like, just correct those couple of issues and ship it is beyond me. You know, Windows X Movie Maker is pretty good ship. Juke says they're probably going to be majoring in cybersecurity when it's time for college. Spoke to some people who work for colleges and did research on it. It sounds fun. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun. I do cybersecurity on the side. I'm a tech guy by heart, you know. My big thing, like, I almost did switch to cybersecurity entirely. I considered it. But the reality is I'm in IT more for, like, the support team kind of aspect of it. You know, like, I want to be that person that you call when everything is broken, and I want to make your day by making that actually work again. Skull says XP's Movie Maker ran really well on 7 and then borked on 10, and it's literally the version they got from Microsoft back in the day. Yeah! Well, as I said, like, there's definitely been some things, especially, like, Windows is weird. Windows is very weird. If you've ever developed on Windows, you'll know what I'm talking about, but there are some very weird and wacky tricks that Microsoft does to make it so that, you know, applications will run. And one of those big things I'm imagining is why it borked from XP to 10 is what are known as pinvokes or p-invokes. Tech blather aside, a pinvoke or p-invoke, I would just call them pinvokes, is a direct API call. Basically, you are tearing apart the OS and saying, I want this specific part of the operating system directly. And they break everything, because if you rename that file at all, if you change that file at all, the pinvoke breaks. Windows 7 had the same kernel, which is like all of the very important stuff that makes your operating system do what it does. It shared the XP kernel. They redid the Windows kernel for Windows 10, so I'm imagining that they made some edits, changes, or just straight up deleted some of those extensions and pinvokes. So now when it runs those pinvokes, it's like, oh, I can't find this file. Compatibility mode won't help you. Sadly. Compatibility mode is a misnomer. It used to be fine. Like, back in Windows 7, I remember it was a godsend. Because compatibility mode used to be, okay, Microsoft realized that we have pinvokes in our code. We are relying on this file being in a certain location and having a certain status. What compatibility mode did, past tense, is that it would revert your computer so that that's what the file would look like, and it would be in that exact location and behave exactly as it did. Starting with Windows 10, when they redid the kernel, compatibility mode is now a misnomer. Compatibility mode just turns a few of your graphics settings down, hoping that it's like purely graphics that's messing you up, which it almost never is, but it doesn't handle any of like the pinvokes or the libraries that's going to depend on at all. So it probably is not going to help you. I mean, it's worth a try, for sure, but I'd go in with the preconceived notion that's probably going to do absolutely nothing. Why they decided to turn compatibility mode into misnomer is beyond me. And yeah, like that's why a lot of times, like if you're trying to run older programs on Windows 10 or 11, using compatibility mode doesn't feel like it does anything, because it really doesn't. All you're doing is telling your graphics card basically to shut up. But a lot of like those hard dependencies and pinvokes are not remapped, and that means you get a program that borks, because the second it is relying on anything that comes from that specific file that was like, oh, well, I need this file to exist exactly like this. The second that that doesn't happen, it's gonna be so confused that it can't do anything anymore, you know? I got Moon Metal. I don't need that. Well, I do need them, I just don't need them. That's not why we're here. I completely missed the Sun Metal in this stage.
Well, that was lame.
Yes, it was, Sonic. That was very lame. Yes, things like Kega Fusion and all of those like really nice old tools that... Sadly, they are also like on the back end somewhere, whether or not the developer put it there, let me put it that way. There is probably a pinvoke, and that is saying, you know, hey, grab this file, and I'm going to do this exact thing to it. And when it's like, oh, well, that file isn't like that anymore, or, you know, has gone through, you know, 1,000,001 edits, it doesn't do anything. This kind of stuff is why, when you get a new computer, you'd love to convert this one to an offline machine with a fresh Win 7 installed. I can help you with that. I actually did that myself. I have a older machine that is running Windows 7 that is in a digital island. It's not allowed to connect to the internet, and it's not allowed to connect to anything else, but it does have LAN capabilities so that if I need to connect to it, I can. It's just on its own every time else. And most of the time I keep it off, too, just for the sake of, you know, extra security. You know, you can't mess with the system that's turned off. Yeah, I can help you with that, man. Because I actually have some stuff that might make that a little easier for you that I don't want to talk about on stream. So let's put it that way. Let's just say I can help. How did I still get a D? Okay, screw this level. But yeah, man, I felt really bad when you were asking me to help you with a Windows 10 key, because I had one. I didn't think I used it, but then I remembered I used it in a VM. And Windows keys like that, like the one I have, are non-transferable, so sadly I can't like just be like, oh, here you go. And even if I could, you know, do it with that, it's, you know, it's... Oh, boy. Microsoft makes things a little bit too complicated when it comes to licensing. I'm not gonna lie. Back in the days of, like, Windows 7 and Windows XP, Oh, chef's kiss. Disabling the licensing in Windows 7 or Windows XP is really redonkulously easy. Because you literally just tell the registry, hey, I don't care. Oh, I know, man, but still. Like, I'd have felt a lot better if I would have been like, oh yeah, I got that right here. You know? But yeah, turning off, like, activation in Windows 7 or Windows XP was redonkulously easy. It took you, like, 3 seconds in one edit, and you'd be good. Nowadays, it still exists. You can still do it. I haven't done it, wink wink. But you lose a lot of features, because now Microsoft actually cares. Back in, like, the Windows XP, Windows 7 era, they didn't care. As long as you got the copy of Windows from them, and it was, like, an official copy of Windows, they didn't care if you ever activated it. But starting with Windows 7 was when they started cracking down on it, but they had a very nice way to turn it off for developing purposes, which I've done. Like, it literally tells you to do it in one of their development manuals. That'll limit some features, but don't really do much. I've died 22 times. Frickin' A, I'm bad at this game, guys. But yeah. Now with Windows 10, and especially Windows 11, getting around activation is virtually impossible. You have to. And it's a pain, because that means that every single time you make a virtual machine, you need to buy a license from Microsoft, which I don't do that. No one ever does that. Not ever. I think I'm safe when I say that. Like, when you're developing and you just want a virtual machine to test on, you're going to download one of the 90-day trial machines from Microsoft, and that'll be fine. It'll be fine enough. You know, would you like to have it forever? Abso-freaking-lutely. Will you have it forever? Absolutely not. You'll have it for 90 days. And, like, I get it. You gotta make money. But still, there's no... I don't know. Like, I'm a Linux... I'm definitely a Windows guy. I've used Windows most of my life. But as I get older and more... need to worry about money a little bit more. Linux is really better in the licensing department because it's free. There is no licensing, you know. And even if there was, it's all open source, so you can just turn it off. Juke says their biggest crime is never buying the WinRAR license. Everybody does that, man. I don't. I use 7-zip, personally, because I like it better. But I remember when I was at, I went to a career and technical education center. Basically, it's basically a trade school, that I went to during, my sophomore and junior years of high school. And they used WinRAR, but they did not, buy the license because they didn't have the money and budget. So we literally used WinRAR unlicensed way past the date when it's like, oh, you should buy this, because you don't have to. WinRAR is what we call Annoyware. Of the different classes of software, Annoyware is a software that lets you use it as long as you want to, for free. The catch is that it's going to annoy the hell out of you, because you haven't bought it, activated it, whatever. You pay to get rid of the annoyance. You're not paying for the software, you're paying for lack of an annoyance. Skull? Yes. Imagine buying WinRAR in a 7-zip world. If you've never heard of 7-zip, just Google it, it comes right up. It's WinRAR, sorry, but free. It's literally like, it does some of the same stuff, and honestly, I like its its interface a lot better. Juke says they have it on their crappy laptop. They got a lifetime of low. Yeah, I feel that. I have several machines. As an IT guy, of course, my room is filled with various paraphernalia from over the years. I have my personal server, which is literally just a Toshiba laptop that I re-imaged as a Ubuntu server. So that's there. I have I have a backup server, and then I have the Win 7 machine. Why am I making the fall noise? I didn't fall. They have 7-zip on their actual computer. Yeah, definitely a good idea. Because 7-zip is open source and free, so you can use it as long as you bother to use it. I use it all the time. Not admittedly as much as I used to, but especially back when I was hurting for disk space, I used to use that all the time. Because I could have, one of the things that I love about 7-zip is you can edit the files without having to extract them from the archive proper. It will load them into your computer's RAM instead of extracting them properly. That is a godsend when you have, like, no disk space. Because you can have files compress into a 7-zip and then edit them without having to worry, oh crap, I have, you know, like, no memory, or no disk space left. It would be a memory hog, obviously, so it's, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your, have a compression system that doesn't use hard disk space and not lose your RAM too. But you can absolutely, you know, use it to kind of cheat the system, more or less. There's a lot of weird tech tricks that I love that do that. Like, there is, back in Windows 7, not so much nowadays because it runs automatically for you, thank God. But back in, like, Windows 7, Windows XP era, there used to be a hidden script that would clear your RAM of all of the system crap that you don't need there. And that would not happen automatically. If you've ever run a Windows XP or a Windows 7 machine constantly for more than like a day, you'll notice a lot of your system resources are being hogged by a very random process simply called system, and that there's no way for you to release those resources. They're just hogged. That's because the system claims memory in Windows 7 and Windows XP, but never explicitly releases it. So it's like going and grabbing a box of chocolates, and you want a couple chocolate bars out of it, but you grab the whole box. And then you keep the box in your room for the rest of your life. Oh, VLC, yes, man. VLC is good. Windows Media Player was great when it existed, but it's gone. I'm sorry to tell you, Skull, as of Windows 11, Windows 10 has it. As of Windows 11, it's officially retired. So Windows Media Player is not a thing anymore. It's been replaced by the Groove Suite, I believe it is, which is Groove Player, the Media Player in Windows 10, which is technically Groove Player, and some other nonsense that is absolute garbage. I remember when I had Windows 10, for the longest time, I refused to update because Groove Music Player didn't work correctly for the longest time. It would just break on you. And you couldn't listen to music. And back then, like, that was my main music player. That's where I had all of my playlists and stuff. So I went through the very painful process of backporting it. Juke says that they're not upgrading to Windows 11. Fair. This machine is running Windows 11. I like some of the things they did with it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a good OS, and Microsoft did some nice things in it. They also did some really not nice things in it. Like, the end-user license agreement I don't love it. Because basically it says that anything you do in Windows is more or less property of Microsoft, which is kind of rude. And it very much constricts, like, development. Like, it's not that you can't develop, it's just that when you develop, it used to be that your machine was still covered by warranty, but in Windows 11, that's no longer the case. The second you switch on developer mode, you are agreeing inadvertently to turn your warranty off. But yeah, this machine is Windows 11. It has to be. My main machine has to be Windows 11 because I'm an IT guy. I need the most up-to-date stuff. It's not an option for me. But for people who have the option, don't do it. Don't do it. There's no reason to do it. Windows 11, I hate to be this person, but let me break your mind here for a second. Windows 11 is literally Windows 10 with lipstick. Under the hood, nothing changed. Literal nothing. Like, there's some weird and wacky changes that make sure you can't do certain things, but as far as, like, actual legit changes to the software, there has been none. So don't do it until you have to in 2025 when Windows 10 finally bites the dust. Rachel says that this takes her back. Used to have a Windows XP machine that they'd constantly play all the time as a kid. Yeah, see, that's where I started out too. The laptop the very first laptop that I had was my mother's, and it had all manner of things built on it, and it was a Windows XP machine. And I remember taking that apart and putting it back together, which was pretty much a miracle. Like, I have no idea how I didn't just, like, pulverize the thing, because I was only, like, 5 or 6 at the time, mind you. And when I got it working, back in Windows XP era, if you had XP Professional or better, you would get this series of video tutorials that walked you through how to use your XP machine. That's one thing I wish they'd bring back, because it was... not only was it an amazing tool for, like, IT professionals to be like, oh, well, if you want to know how to do this, just watch the tutorial on it. It's right on, you know, it's built into the OS, you know? But it also was, like, I was obsessed with it, you know? I watched through those tutorials at least 1,000,000 times, like, and I'm not even kidding you. Like, if I had a quarter for every time I watched through those, I'd be a multi-millionaire, at least. Because I was obsessed with learning how everything worked, you know? That's why I got into IT, because I was just like... Most people, when it comes to IT, I don't know about you guys personally, but most people that, when it comes to IT, they push a button and that's where they stop caring, you know? Like, they want to push that button, they want the magic to happen behind the curtain, and they don't care. I care, you know? That's my job now, but, or it will be in a year. But yeah... Skull says they'd love if they made an anniversary edition of XP with presentation but modern amenities underneath the hood. Total pipe dream, but it'd be nice. You're not the only one to think of that. Somebody else, I'll have to look it up and send it to you later, but there's actually a really cool YouTuber who does hypotheticals of anniversary editions of Windows. Like, he did a Windows 7 hypothetical not too long ago, and it was gorgeous, because basically the idea is you take the good of both worlds. You know, you can have your cake and eat it too, because we don't have to worry about programmatic stuff, you know, we don't have to worry that, you know, this breaks that, because we're just drawing it, more or less. But yeah, I would love, what I would love, and they should have done it with Windows 10, and I'll explain why. When Windows 10 came out, I always had this dream that there would be this program called Windows Decades. And what it would do is it would allow you to basically create virtual machines of each Windows version over the years. The name being because Windows 10, it's like a decade, you know, whatever. It was a dumb name that I came up with when it came out. Sue me. Please don't. I don't have much. But yeah, like, I thought it would be very cool if they had, like, an interactive VM machine, basically, where you could go back and, like, see Windows 1.0, 2.0, all the way up through. because they're awesome. Like, they all have some very neat features that are very, very well missed. I forget where I'm supposed to go now. But yeah, like, it would be epic if they did that. But yeah, remind me later if I don't just send it to you, Skull, to send that video to you, because it's really cool. Because it basically does exactly what you're saying, is just modern amenities, but XP presentation. And that's one thing, like, Windows 11 does it okay. Windows 10 does it okay. Windows 7 did it alright. But Windows XP, if you don't know, from video gaming and stuff, the XP literally means experience. It is an experience. When you are on Windows XP, everything was animated. Everything was pretty. You know, like, everything looked epic. And it was such, you know, especially with the hardware back then, it was amazing that they pulled it off. Oh, I see where I need to go now. So we got about a half hour left here, folks. So I want to wrap up for dinner, because I'm gonna be hungry. Can't believe I've already been going for almost 3 hours. This is insane. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool things that companies could do that they don't. Because they cost money, and that's fair, but it's just... Yeah, see, exactly, Skull. XP had the aesthetic. 7 was almost just as good in terms of looks and function. 8 was a nightmare. 8 was a nightmare all over. Because they started, like, with the tiled home menu actually being its own screen. That was a big mistake. And it also had some very big flaws in it. For those of you unaware, Windows 8.1, the reason why that exists is because there was a vital 0-day bug in Windows 8 that Microsoft couldn't figure out how to fix fast enough. And Windows 9 was already in development. So what they did is they put Windows 8 and patched in some of the stuff from Windows 9. And basically blended the two together to give us what we now know as Windows 8.1. That's why it's called that, is it's literally Windows 9 with Windows 8's functionality, because Windows 9 at that point in time was literally just a thought, you know. They had some basic kernel coding and stuff like that, but nothing else. And yeah, the whole idea of, like, having a dedicated home screen, it was cool, but it didn't work at all. Like, I remember at first I thought that was the coolest thing ever, that they had a set-aside home screen for Windows 8, or, yeah, for Windows 8. But then, once I started, like, actually having to open more than one application at a time, that was so annoying, because you'd have to exit out whatever application you were using and go to the home screen, and it was just a nightmare. The start menu is definitely where it's at. And I don't think any aesthetic for the start menu will ever be, like, the classic Windows XP start menu. Like, I'm sorry. It is such an aesthetic. Like, I know I'm being a little old school there, and I'm not saying that the newer one sucks, because especially in Windows 11, they did give it a glam up from Windows 10. But it just doesn't feel the same, and it's not as functional. Like, in Windows XP, you had so much control over what went where. You know, you could see everything on your computer, or you could see a certain folder, or you could see the start menu, or you could see this. Like, it was all the same place. All you had to do was flip a few switches and voila, you know? That was the original point of the start menu, is like everything starts here. Then why did you bother? Anyhow. Home screen more like growth screen, lol. Start menu in 10 wasn't fun either. I used Classic Shell to emulate 7. It was legit perfect. Yeah. I remember this was actually right when I was starting to, like, actually get into IT proper. I remember one of my mentors and I actually, when we were installing, or setting up some Windows 7 machines, we installed Classic Shell on them out of the box because so many people would complain to us, or not Windows 7, Windows 10, sorry, because so many people were complaining that it was different, because we went straight from Windows XP to Windows 10 for the most part, which was really dumb. But at the time, it's what we had. But yeah, so it was a big jump. And yeah, we used Classic Shell to emulate 7. Because everybody was like, what the hell is this? Yeah! We got another, Chaos Emerald. And another, piece of the puzzle put back together. Woo! But yeah, Classic Shell is a great program. I don't personally use it. I kind of forced myself to learn the new home menu and all of that stuff because I was just like, you know, as amazing as it is, I need to know how this works. You know, it's not... Oh yeah. Rachel, I want to apologize to everyone. I blather. Especially when it comes to technology. Like, it's pretty bad. I don't care about what you have to say, Professor Pickle. Now take my shit that I don't want, and you can have it, please, because I don't want your shit. But yeah, there's a lot of, like, random weird things. And Windows is always, like, don't get me wrong, Windows is a wonderful operating system. It is the one operating system you can really get away with using unless you're a developer like me, who needs both Windows and Linux. Mac users, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say to you, is I'm sorry. Because if you're using a Mac, either you've been more or less brainwashed by Apple, or you have no choice. And you can't tell me otherwise. Like, I'm sorry, Mac fans. One of my mentors is a huge Mac fan, but I'm sorry. Unless you're, like, obsessed with how things look graphically, and even then, there's tricks, Mac isn't for you. It's not for anybody. Rachel says that was a masterpiece. I don't know. I'm imagining you're talking about my little song breakout there. Thanks? Nobody wants to hear me sing, but that was just me kind of being a dink to Professor Pickle, because I was just like, you know what? I literally went around the world. I collected this random shit for you. I don't want it. Juke, my respect for you just went up a couple points, because you forgot Mac even existed, to be honest. I love that. My mentor, if he hears this back, would probably so pick on me for that, because he knows that I know that he loves Macs. Like, that is his operating system of choice, but I gotta say, like, no. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, Skull. Mac's only good if you're wanting to do audio-video, and even then, there's stuff that's just as good over on PC. That's the point. And see, I wouldn't have as big an issue with Macintosh, or Apple as a whole, honestly, because I don't love them as a company. I'm not going to lie. Like, all the credit in the world to them. They've done some epic things. And if I ever have the opportunity to work for them, you know, if they see that as an opportunity, you know, that's something I'll leave myself open to at the time. But I don't love the way that they do things, because Macintosh is so closed up. Everything Apple is so closed up. Like, developing for Apple, I have tried. It is impossible. You need, like, written legal permission from Apple to even try. And once you do that, oh boy, Like, if you thought that part was difficult, you know, the getting the okay from Apple, you know, if you manage to get into their development program, forget it. Because you have to learn everything. Skull says once Windows 95 came out, Mac has just been chasing. Yeah! Juke, I wish I had the appropriate voice clip, but that's no good. Yeah, it sucks. You know, obviously some people are going to have to more or less use it, you know, and I'm not saying you can't, and I'm not saying you can't like it, you know, Apple is a perfectly okay operating system. It's just not, you know, it's not for me. And it really, one of my biggest gripes, as I was saying, you know, Apple is so tight with how you develop on it and what you can develop and all that stuff. With Windows or Android or whatever, you can make whatever you want. You know, like, things like Pinvoke, Mac would never let that happen. Because a Pinvoke is literally, as I said, like, you are... Think of it like a library. I'm going to use that metaphor again. You know, you're going to the shelf, you're picking up the book, and you are actually, like, writing in the book. Like, you have gotten permission from the library, and you are writing in that dang book. That's more or less what a Pinvoke is. Mac would never Apple would never let that happen as a whole. Yeah. And, Juke, that's the other thing. I used to be... I'm gonna get thrown in my face after I end this stream by, the member of the household who did get me onto Android, but I used to be a Mac fan. Or not a Mac fan, I never liked Macs, but a iOS fan. But the one big thing that turned me off about iOS was once I became a developer. Because I wanted to develop on my iPhone. And I couldn't. There was no way. Like, in Android, you have to flip a switch, and you have to agree that, you know, you're voiding your warranty and all that fun shit. But you can do it, and there's nothing stopping you. And they'll give you help with it. You know, there's Android Studio and the Google Online documentation for help as far as what you do. With Apple, even if you get into the development program, you have to learn how their stuff works from the inside out. And what I mean by that is they're not going to help you. They're not going to tell you where to look for things. You have to figure that out your own self, you know. And if you can't, tough love for you. But yeah, you can't customize anything on it, especially when you compare it to Android. Because Android is, like, the opposite, right, you know? And a lot of people give it harshities because of that. They're like, oh, well, because Mac is so locked up, it's less vulnerable to viruses. No, I'm gonna break your mind right now. Mac is more vulnerable. It is. iOS and Mac are more vulnerable than iOS and Windows. Why? Because a lot of that technology that they're blocking out is stuff that helps. It's applications like antivirus software that actually help you. It's, you know, applications that help the experience that aren't even, you know, thinking about messing with your stuff. Like, yeah, are there viruses on all three platforms? Absolutely. But there's not as many, and especially, like, with Android, there's things like Samsung Knox that make it virtually impossible to mess with the actual internals of Android, but you can do whatever you want still. You just have to do it on Knox's terms. Juke says, it's a minor complaint, but the UI is boring as well. Yeah! That's a thing too, right? Like, user experience is all the rave now. Like, back in the day, like, even Windows XP, like, one of its biggest things is, as I said, it was an experience. You bought Windows XP not only because it was Windows and because you knew what Windows was, but you bought it for the experience and the fact that it looked nice. Mac, it looks nice, but everything looks the exact same. Why? Because, as I said, they lock everything up. You have to develop things in a very specific manner. Skull was saying you don't hear about viruses from Mac because nobody uses it. There, with a little asterisk, that I hear about them, because that's my job. You know, part of my job is I have to keep myself up to date on this stuff. I'm sorry about the call. Somebody's given me a phone call. Some random number, who knows. Oh, it's spam! Thanks, call filter. You could have just, you know, not had it ring through. That's brilliant. Anyway. But yeah, Macs, they're not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way. If you use Mac like my, you know, one of my mentors, as I said, he loves Mac. That's all he personally uses. I have no issues with it. You know, like, he's a great guy. I think he's, you know, I still think of him just as well. I just think he has the wrong choice of operating system. But then again, you know, for what he does, it's, you know, it's what he's used since ever, you know. His first computer was a iMac, you know. And I'm not talking like the colorful, you know, bricky iMacs. I'm talking like the original, like, iMac things that look like a freaking Atari. He showed me it. He showed me one of, it was like his third computer. Because he doesn't have his first one anymore. Sadly, he had to retire that one, but he has his like second or third one, and it literally looks like a freaking Atari, you know. But it's a Mac. It didn't even have, I don't even think it has a Ethernet port on it. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't even think it had like networking tech in mind at that point. Like, it's gonna be old SATA cables and, straight links. Yeah, that's the iMac Skull. And yeah, see, that's one thing that Apple got away with a little bit with, stuff like the iMac, was the multicolored monitor. It looked cool. And also, for people who were techie like me, they were see-through. You could see what was on the inside of iMacs without having to open them up. For tech people like me, that's epic, because we don't have to open it up to study how it works. However, they kinda botched that. Why am I starting at, well, I have time. But yeah, they kind of botched it up because they then started making it not transparent. They started getting rid of the number of color customizations, because with iMac, you got so many.
What do you mean, we?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, by the way, Mr. Scoop, for using the audio command. That's one of the newer ones. Use the heck out of those. There's 60-second cooldowns on each one individually, but you can use them all you want past that. But yeah, I agree, Skull. Translucent plastic is a tech trend that never should have died. It really shouldn't have, because think of it from a troubleshooting standpoint. Do you want to, you know, tear apart a computer to see what's inside of it? No! Scapelli! Scapelli says no. And just looking at it, it's just, yeah. Juke, yeah. Translucent controllers, yes. And, like, for me, as I said, like, as a tech guy, I want to know what's going on inside. My Xbox controller that I'm knowing right now, that I'm using right now, if I wanted to answer that question on this Xbox controller, I would have to buy a new one. Because there is literally no safe way to take an Xbox controller apart, unless you are trained on how to do so. I'm not. That's why people make money on repairing controllers, because modern controllers like the Xbox One controller that I have in my hand right now, which is actually for the Xbox S series or something dumb like that, if you try to take it apart, it will literally just destroy some of the innards, and you can forget about it. And unless you know exactly what things you need to unscrew and what things you want to leave and that sort of stuff, you're not gonna know. Rachel's says that they might make an OC called Billy the Scapelli at some point. If you do, feel free to send it my way. And that goes for everybody who has things that they're just kind of thinking of creating. If you want me to show it off on the stream, feel free to send it to me. Either I'm at dman028 or 853 on Twitter, or you can send it to me in the Funhouse over at the 182 Discord. Those are the main two ways that you can probably easily get a hold of me. And feel free to send it my way, and I will show it off. I have no issues whatsoever with using my time in the, for people's memories to promote somebody else, I'm here to have some fun and be a member of the community, and part of that is making sure that you guys can be a member of the community too, I'm not here to take away from anybody, I'm here to help, if I can. Obviously I'm not going to do anything weird and wacky. But yeah, I would like to see Billy the Scapelli. Yeah, the what do we mean we was just kind of I don't know if this will ever be used, but I mean, Mr. Scoots used it twice, so thank you. And then I also have the memory, and I have serious short-term memory loss. And I have serious short-term memory loss because my memory is crap. Juke says Xbox controller is cool, but was disappointed with the lack of new stuff for this gen. It has one new button, but same OS. PS5 controller is really cool. Yeah, we got the share button. That's it. I'd also like to point out the share button is completely backward compatible. Don't believe Microsoft's lie on that one, because when I bought this controller, obviously they don't sell plain old Xbox One controllers anymore because that console's too out of date. Even though it's really not. And I got this one, and it's technically the Series X series controller that's backward compatible. And the share button, in the instruction manual, it says that the share button will not work on the Xbox One original. You have to have a S or an X. This is an original, and it literally is fine. Like, I'll push it right now. And it'll fail because I'm casting, but that's not because of Xbox One. That's just because I'm casting this. Since we're in this level, Skull was recently doing a random browse over on Wikipedia and ran into a page for Polar Night. So beautiful. Pictures on that page are gorgeous for the most part. What the hell is that noise? Pardon me, guys. Something's going on. Alright, so hopefully noise cancellation is a thing, and you can't hear the nonsense that's going on. But yeah, Polar Nights, yeah, gorgeous. I've seen some pretty nice winter-esque stuff, because our winters here get pretty harsh. We're actually in the close enough to the northern pole that the path of air, the northern, I forget what the polar airflow, basically, comes through. So we get literal air from the North Pole down here sometimes. So that's a thing. But yeah, and like some of the nights, like those crisp, clean nights where you can like look out into the starry sky and see for literal ever. Those are gorgeous, man. Like, I hate the cold, but that's one of the few good things about living, middle of nowhere, northern East Coast, is like, you get some pretty neat views. You get to see the Aurora Borealis every now and again, which is a great sight to behold. Pictures don't do it justice. And that's also the other thing about, like, anything, right? Is, like, I'm sorry, but pictures don't do things justice. I don't care if you use the XXSLR T3 whatever, you know. Son of a... Polar wind do be a thing, yeah. It's a cold thing, too. And the local weather station, we always make fun of it because they always talk about lake effect and, you know, the stuff from the jet stream. Those are the words I was trying to look for, was jet stream, the polar jet stream. But yeah, all of, like, the jet stream effects and stuff. The weather lady on our local weather station will go absolutely bonkers over that stuff. Like, she says it, like, 270 times. Like, if she was paid by the time she says that, she might seriously be. Then she's pretty well off, you know? But yeah, you live in Michigan, so you know, Skull. You guys get a little bit of that, too. Depending on where in Michigan you're at. But I know, like, my uncle, who lives out in Michigan, who I almost just accidentally named, he gets the polar jet stream too every now and again. Not as often as we get it, because it has to go down a little further for him to get it, but especially with climate change, it's getting worse. Skull was saying, yeah, he gets some polar wind events, yeah. They're interesting. Like, don't get me wrong, it sucks, but weather is very interesting. Like, I always, when I was little, I thought about being a meteorologist, because it is a very interesting field. Duke says West Virginia weather isn't for anyone. For everyone. I almost said it isn't for anyone. It gets really hot in the summer and really cold in the winter. No polar winds, though. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing, too. Like, I'm not going to name where I'm at because I never hear the end of it. But, where I live, it's basically the same, more or less. You know, summers can get ridiculously hot. And winters are ridiculously cold no matter what. Like, what summers, it's pretty much like, okay, well, flip a coin. But as far as, like, winters are concerned, it's always freaking cold. But yeah. The weather isn't for everybody. Rated NE for not everyone. Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is, like, I don't want to talk about it too much, because it is a very polarized topic. But as long as we can be, like, civil about it, I'm okay with talking about, stuff that is a little polarizing, and climate change is one of those things. It's a thing, I'm sorry to break it to you. The Earth just doesn't magically warm up and cool down on its own behalf over the course of, you know, a couple decades, you know, over a couple millennia? Absolutely. It's done that. We have the fossilized records to show that it's happened before. We're just speeding it up ridiculously, you know, and it's not good. Science, the big thing, nice pun, Skull, polarizing. But yeah, one of the biggest things that people don't realize about climate change is it doesn't necessarily mean things get hotter, you know. Its colds are colder, too. It's just the extremes, because climate change, one of the main drivers in it, is good old CO2, carbon dioxide. CO2 is an insulator, which means that it holds in heat. But insulators also hold in cold. You know, if you have an insulated water bottle, you'll notice, unless it's mislabeled or has some weird and wacky isolation on it, that it's rated for both cold and heat. Because it will hold both. Oh yeah, Skull, this is one of the most, the prettiest, I guess would be the way to word it, stages in the game. Juke, I feel that. I'm more north of you than you are, so I feel that right in the heart. My car. If you use it, it's your car, man. You know, it might not be yours on paper, but how am I gonna know that, man? But I appreciate the honesty, I really do. Well, I know, sound, suppression didn't catch that. Sorry, folks. I tried to get as little of that as possible, but you're gonna hear some yelling in a second. Apparently the laundry wasn't done in time. I will definitely have to clip that out. But it's not really anything like too bad, because I've mentioned that my dad shares a name with Dennis, the streamer, so people already know his name, it's just now you have it confirmed. Didn't hear anything perfect. Ha! I was quick enough. Ah. See, I figured that noise suppression would give me a couple seconds before it would register, and then I muted my mic manually. So, but yeah, I'm gonna finish this level and then we're gonna call it a stream. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Juke and Skull, I think that's all of the viewers we got. Please don't die! Son of a... Okay, so next, so this stage is the last one I'm gonna do. And if I game over, then that's just gonna be it. I don't feel like torturing myself for too much longer. We've been live for 3 hours and ticking down. Skull was saying winter is pathetic. It really is. It's gorgeous. I don't like winter, but it's gorgeous. My favorite seasons are fall and spring before allergies become a thing. So we're talking early spring, late fall, because really, allergies suck. And I have year-round environmental allergies, so I'm literally allergic to the environment we live in. And I am medicated for it, but it doesn't always help, especially not in like the depths of spring and fall when it's like pollen central. But those are my favorite months, like before and after pollen is just like not a thing anymore. Skull misses life before seasonal allergies. I wish I had that. I wish I could say the same. Like I've had seasonal allergies and environmental allergies literally my whole life. I was born with them. They were passed down. My grandfather had them, and so obviously it passed down the chain. Juke says their favorite season is fall, they think. The colors and cool weather is great. Yeah. See, that's also the thing with why I pick spring and fall is it's like the weather is perfect. You know, you don't have to worry about a 90-degree day, and you don't have to worry about a 30-degree day. You're gonna get like 50s and 60s, which is like, blah. Chef's kiss. Okay, can I not die on this time? That would be epic. Probably would help if I don't jump. But I'm gonna do it. What's your favorite season, Skull? If I may ask. You don't obviously have to answer that. If that's like top Skull 90 secret, yeah, and I do have a confession to make about October too. I don't love Halloween. I'm sorry. My mom, one of my family members, is a huge fan of Halloween. So I definitely like appreciate the idea but to me, it's not a lot of fun, especially as an adult, because like I don't get to go out and get candy. If I want candy, I gotta go to the store and buy it myself, or find it in the shared candy. But like, you know, it's seen as weird if, you know, like this Halloween, I seriously considered doing it anyways, but I wanted to dress up, do my own cosplay of Miles Tails Prower, for obvious reasons. But I didn't, because I was just like, everybody's gonna call me a creep. Because, like, I'm definitely old enough to the point where it's like, you don't need to be doing that stuff, you know. What button is it again? Not that one! I'm just gonna throw this fan anywhere, if that's okay with everybody. I've died 31 times. Good heavens. Oh, it's that one. I like how it just selectively melts that one part of the icicle. But yeah, I don't love Halloween. Mostly because, like, I'm sorry, I don't love the sound of, like, nonsense, more or less, I guess is the polite way to put it. Like, I like a decent amount of, you know, like, having fun and whatever, but when it gets to the point where you can't hear yourself think, it's too much. Duke says they like the aesthetic of Halloween, but that's about it. See, that's basically where I sit. Like, I like the aesthetics. You know, it's pretty cool, and it gives me an excuse to play games like this, that I probably wouldn't otherwise, because this is, like, in season. I try and do it once every October. But beyond that, it's just, especially as an adult, like, as a kid, I loved Halloween. Like, that was one of the best days of the year, because I went out, I got to dress up as one of my favorite, you know, characters for something. You know, I was Harry Potter one year, I've been a number of random ass things, and I get to go around and eat candy. Like, it's great. But when I turned old enough that I became an adult, you know, when I hit that magic mark of 18, I was informed that, like, that was pretty much as far as I could push it, and not be considered an absolute creep, which I get, because, like, there's little kids around you don't want, you know, this random adult trying to blend in and possibly do some pretty horrible things, but it also kind of sucks. Skull says they like late spring, early summer when it's warm but also pleasant. Winter looks the best, and there's some enjoyment in taking a walk in the cold. But they couldn't spend an entire day like that. Yeah. I feel that. That used to be where I put the line. Juke, I'm glad I didn't read that as it was. I'm just, because I was about to ask a very good question of how. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just something weird. But yeah, I don't live anywhere near, like, a populated area. Like, the closest Wendy's to me is, it is over, it's like 83, I think is the magic number, miles from my doorstep to Wendy's. That's one way, so it's over almost 200 miles, to get to Wendy's from here. That sucks. But it also is wonderful because, like, there's nothing here. Like, it's a double-edged sword, right? You know, there's nothing here, and that means, like, anything like Comic-Cons or anything like that, you can forget it. Juke, you're absolutely fine. I have a speech impediment, so I get it. And even if I didn't have a speech impediment, I don't consider myself to be that kind of a-hole. I was just kind of joking around with the fact that, you know, it would have been very interesting if I read that as, you know, I'm just glad I live in a very densely populated area because no one trick-or-treats there. Because that doesn't make much sense, right? You know, I wasn't trying to make fun of you, and I apologize if it came across that way. we don't get many trick-or-treaters here either. Like, we usually get, like, well, we get more here than we did at our old house. We used to live in a trailer that was a little bit more in the middle of nowhere. Now we live in a little bit less of the middle of nowhere, so we get some trick-or-treaters. We get, like, 10. And I know, like, some of you city dwellers out there are gonna be like, 10? That's, like, 5 minutes, you know, if that, you know, like, that's 5 seconds. But Duke says they're just apologizing to be courteous. I appreciate that, but yeah, you don't have to hot take here, but especially as someone who has, you know, a decent amount of weirdness about him, I'm definitely, like, going to apologize about stuff I do, but I don't think other people should have to, admittedly. Like, if that's just you, be you, you know? Like, I don't think you should have to apologize for being yourself. Does that mean you shouldn't do it? No. By default, especially in the world as it sits right now, it's always a good idea to apologize for being you, because you don't know if that's acceptable. But there's really no reason. Yeah, I know, that's a little bit of a hot take of me, but I just really I don't think you should have to apologize for being yourself. That's who you are, that's the whole point. You know, we're human beings, we're all different, and I just died. You know, like, I think that's a good thing. You know, are there things that you need to apologize for? Absolutely, but being you shouldn't be one of those things. You know, but as I said, in, like, the workforce and stuff like that, apologize for being you almost constantly is probably a good, bit of, thing. Yeah, Duke, as I was saying, like, it's a habit of mine, too. I was just saying, like, I personally, looking out into the world, if I had, like, god powers that could, like, change something about the world, that'd be one of the first things to go. Be, like, the idea that you have to apologize for being oneself. Skull says they've never been a big fan of this level because of this section. Yeah, I don't love this section. The aesthetic's cool. The mechanism's cool. I don't love that the icicles will fall away on you. It's a neat little thought, but it sucks. But yeah, Duke, you're fine. I literally do the same thing. I was just saying, like, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have to do that. And, like, you certainly don't have to feel like you have to do it to me, you know, like, if it's a force of habit, go where it at. I've got plenty of bad habits that I recite all the darn time, but I was just saying, you know, don't feel like you have to. I love how I said, you know, this will only take, you know, mentally, I didn't say it out loud, thank heavens, but I was like, oh, this will only take a couple minutes, this is a werehog. And you died during it a few times. And I'm also getting extra lives, which is not a good thing. Unless you're going to Skull 902's extra live stream in about a month. Hashtag totally applaud. Yeah, mine personally comes from, you know, I was brought up that, you know, obviously, very good thing I was, but to be, courteous and whatever, and, I think part of that was kind of like the improvement that it's always a good idea to apologize, you know, like, there's only, like, a few seldom circumstances in which, you really shouldn't. Like, if you don't mean it, don't say it, but when it's, like, dumb stuff like that, nobody's gonna check you on that. Skull says it's 2 weeks away, it's gonna feel like 2 days. I know, man. Which, I did, I have to remember to talk to you. I think I'm, all good, probably. I did want to make sure that I was, all good to be, guest on there. Because I did, inquire about that, but I didn't know how that was all going to be. And I don't want to step on any toes, because I know you've got other people. Other much more people than me. More important people, rather. Yeah, that's gonna be like a breath away. It's too bad you aren't playing Breath of the Wild, or else I could have made that fun. Breath of the Big. We're playing Breath of the Big. More robots. Like, I know Eggman is trying to protect the Gaia Temple, but, like, really, man? You want the world to be broken? I guess it's easier to take apart when it's all, you know, separated pieces. Like, you took it over just fine in Sonic Forces. Oh, I hate that game. I don't hate that game. Let me correct myself. I do love some of the ideas. Okay, see, I thought that was the case, Skull, but I just wanted to make sure that I was all good there. We can discuss that more personally. But, Forces had a lot of good ideas. It really did. Like, Infinite had so much potential. They wasted it. Like, horribly wasted it. Soiled it! And there's really no reason. Like, your OC, I get that. That's, you know, classic, you know, insert you. And I do love that. You know, that's where my OC came from. Was their OC creator, because I needed a guy that I made maximum. Hopefully one of these days I will finish him up to the point where I can comfortably talk about him. I might talk about him for a second. But, like, there's so much wasted potential. It's kind of like 06 in that, you know, and that's why a lot of people compare it to 06. Is like, there's so much that you could have done with that, and that's what you chose. And, like Vindo was saying yesterday, like, when I saw some of the trailers for the game, it's... You look at that and you're like, that can't be it, you know? There's no way that they would release a Sonic game that lasts, like, each level is, like, 2 minutes long, you know? It has the inverse problem that this did, where it's just, like, levels are too long. Well, those are way too short. Duke says, I wish unlocking cosmetics in that game wasn't such a grind fest or random in that game, because there are things I want to use, but I'll never get it unless I do millions of challenges. Yeah! That's a thing. Grinding, I don't like it. Like, that's one of my biggest gripes about this game, is you must grind. You must. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, like, there isn't a choice here. And Sonic Forces, there is a choice. You know, like, obviously, so that's better. But, and that's always the key word, right? It does kind of suck. And especially cosmetics. Like, I'm sorry, like, do I really need to play, like, 273 missions to unlock some dumb thing that's just gonna go on my OC? You know, like, why couldn't you have given that to us out of the box? Or had it been, you know, like, a pre-order thing, you know, that's just like, oh, well, you only have to grind for it if you haven't pre-ordered or don't have the certain DLC, you know, that honestly I would prefer over, like, oh no, you have to grind for it no matter what. But yeah, so I think that's gonna be a stream. Duke, yeah, I don't have time. I feel that. But yeah, other than, like, kind of tying up loose ends in the chat, because I don't want to, like, cut you guys off, because that's not the point. I am going to call it here. It's been 3.5 hours. Holy Hannah. If you came by, right now we've got Skull902, friend of the channel. Go check him out. And we've got Juke, who is one of the people that inadvertently found my channel through my Twitter, because the YouTube algorithm was actually smart for once. I know, mind blown. But yeah, we've got some stuff coming up. Later today, we have Dizzy Dennis, who is doing a charity stream for the Transgender Law Center. He'll be reciting the Sonic movie 2 in its entirety from memory. So go check that out. Just being there is a bunch of support. If you can't, that's fine. You know, it's not like we're going to force you to be there. And if you can donate, that's also wonderful. You know, if you can't, we get it. Money can be tight. And Skull, definitely thank you for coming by. They stream over here on YouTube. There's the link. They'll be streaming for Extra Life on November 5th. I'm planning on being a part of that during the one of the sections. You can check out Sif. If you want to plug yourself as far as like the Twitter link, Skull, you can go ahead and do that. That's up to you. But with that being said, I've been Dylan Bradley. I hope you all have a nice day. I hope that this has been, you know, somewhat fun for you guys. If you've enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that fun stuff if you haven't already. I appreciate the heck out of it. I do want to say that, you know, you aren't doing it just to, you know, fill my ego. You're doing it to help the channel and help me kind of help you, you know. I can't really do this without you, so thank you so much. And yeah, there is the link. And yeah, it's been amazing to chat with you guys. I hope to catch you next time. We are doing a stream tomorrow of Tails in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I'm hoping to finish that. That will be at my normal slot from 7 to 9. I thought of doing it from during this slot because it gives me more time, but I think, especially viewership-wise and other personal schedule details-wise, that will work better. So do stay tuned for that. But yeah, I've been Dylan Bradley. Have a great day. I'm going to push a button, and you guys are going to go about your day. So have a